Hello, everybody, and welcome to the stream of chaos. My name is James, and I am the keeper for this game of Shadows Over Stillwater, which is a Call of Cthulhu campaign in the Down Darker Trail setting that's investigation against the mythos in the Wild West. I'm joined, as I always am, by this fine crew of folks, and let's have them introduce themselves. I'm realizing right now that my list of names in the order that I usually introduce people is gone. So I'm going to take a wild guess and say, I think, Jackson, you seem to tend to be first. Let's go with that.
Excellent. Hey, I'm Jackson. I'm playing Jeremiah MacDonald, a U.S. Marshal, who is last time we met. What was he doing? Oh, he stopped some no good bandits from getting away with some hostages. Saved the corral. Kind of the hero of the day. Some would say, not me. Some
did pretty good. Maybe more people should say it. Maybe you're due a little positive press. Continuing back with my guessing game, I think that Art is usually next.
Hi, I'm Art, not Daniel. I'll take over from Jackson. And I play Dr. Joseph Waite, who is a medical professional, sometimes doctor, sometimes veterinarian, sometimes dentist, sometimes any or all of the above in any given order. And the last time we saw Dr. Joseph, he was making detailed anatomical sketches of fish people and watching bodies rain from the sky.
Yeah, I mean, the drawings of fish people are a lot more fun in that regard. Since I've already messed up the order that's people, let's just throw it all out the window. David, why don't you go next?
It's bloody chaos. G'day, I'm Dave. I'm playing Grease, and most recently I've thrown a sniper off a perch to his death. Also, I've negotiated us getting an armored wagon, which I'm very excited about.
Yes, exactly. Armored wagons are always going to be useful. And last but not least, Daniel, you want to jump in?
Yeah, I'll jump in. I'm Daniel. I'm playing Griff Gutherson, who's an aged mountain man. And last time you saw me, I guess I was leading the way up to that precipice from which Grease threw the gentleman over the edge from. But yeah.
You helped out. You were part of that assassination.
I was also there.
We're a team.
I'm not sure if it's murder or assassination. I think the definition of assassination that it needs to be someone notable.
I think it's political explicitly.
Political.
I think it's done. If it's done for attention or done publicly.
Oh well, I was definitely going for attention. So I think in that case it was absolutely an assassination.
Any of Grease's kills are assassinations because they're always for attention.
Assassination. All right. Well, for those of you who are just joining us, first of all, welcome, and please subscribe to our channel on Twitch and on YouTube. It helps us a lot. And let's give you a brief reminder of what's happened previously. Our investigators are a gang of folks who are tracking down members of the Green-Eyed Gang. That is a group of bandits who have been up to all kinds of terrible things throughout the West and who have been associated with a lot of weird and eldritch and terrible arcane horrors, including serpent people, a lot of things rising from the dead, and general wicked skullduggery. So our investigators are taking them down, not just because they're evil, but because all of them have a very specific grudge held against one of the members. We managed to get through most of them, and now we're chasing down Griff's rival, Elijah Smythe, Reverend Elijah Smythe. And we followed Reverend Elijah to a town called Shade, where he has been taking hostages and doing all kinds of things that seem to be orchestrated to draw the ire of Griff. And now he is being pursued up into the mountains, where supposedly there may be a Navajo village, a Spanish fort, and strange things in general that could threaten the sanity of all involved. We're going to jump in from there as a collection of you are continuing on your way up the mountain, leaving the broken and battered body of the sniper that you pushed off his perch behind. And I want to start off with a question about hatred. Hatred, it's a strong thing, it's a terrible thing, it's a frightening thing. Grease, who do you hate?
I mean, I reckon sometimes I thought I hated people, but I mean, the person that came closest was the old my Green-Eye Gang target, and I was not prepared, so I didn't have his name up. Jim Owens, but since he's been sorted, I don't think I hate anyone really. I don't think I have the experience for it, and I don't think anyone's done enough wrong by me yet.
Exactly. You also grew up as basically an orphan under the auspices of the church, so you would have had some pretty anti-hate rules drilled into you from an early age.
I had some rollers drilled into me as well.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, that's the other side of things. Doc, what about you? Who do you hate?
Besides myself sometimes. Probably my pa.
Very
Probably the
personal.
closest I got to hating anyone. What he did to my sister. Never really forgave him, but then I didn't really get much of a chance. He didn't exactly stick around much longer.
You have very personal hate. You have a hate of people who are close to you, so close that they argue in some cases. That's interesting, and it's something that you carry with. What about you, Mac? Marshall? Who do you hate?
I think Mac's almost out of hate for particular people. I think he's put enough people on the ground to be numb to it all. But I guess he would hate people who act without thoughts of of consequences, tyrants, just kind of the idea of selfishness and evil in the world. But he can't hate a person for being dragged into that. Fortunately, that's how the world is.
I understand that. Well, it seems that the collection of you have very, to a certain extent, abstract or at least not completely dedicated interpretations of hate. Even Doc, your answer was perhaps the strongest. You hated your father and you hated yourself, but that kind of hatred is not the all-consuming hate that I think some people describe. Unless I'm wrong, it's a more nuanced thing.
I mean, outside the damage, I think it's a little more abstract than, say, I think where you're going with this.
Yeah, well, where I'm heading with this is Griff. Who do you hate?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe Elijah Smythe.
All right, an easy answer. Hate a single person. And Griff, you mentioned that Griff took up arms again, took up the will to kill and the will to do harm to people purely to track down Elijah Smythe.
Yeah, Griff, a long time ago, after the war, Griff made an arrangement with himself that he would never take the life of another man again. If he could help it. That he would live as peacefully as he would be allowed to. And Elijah Smythe has made him break that oath, made him take up arms again and kill people.
It's got to be a pretty strong hate for it to change fundamentally who you are, to drive you across the country and to drive you through as many adventures and crazed incidents as you've been on with the rest of this group. But let me ask you something. You have all this hate. Have you met Elijah Smythe? Have you ever actually stood face to face in front of the man? Or is it reputation and whispers that have led you on this trail?
It's strange. To hate someone so much that you ain't never seen before in your life. It's certainly an unusual characteristic.
Okay, fantastic. And
may I make an observation? I would say that hating someone you've never met is considerably easier than hating someone you have.
I think that's almost certainly true. A very astute observation. Well, speaking of observations, the collection of you, as you step away from the body that you've left behind and continue on your trail up the sand-blasted mountains into the hills as the sun is setting, you can almost see the hatred peeling off of Griff. It is like he's a beacon of negative energy just strolling through. A magnetic force of aggression imbues off him as he continues to walk forward, moving further and further. I would like all of you to let me know a couple of details about what your plan is. There's a few questions you need to answer. I mentioned that you're walking away from the body, leaving it on the side of the road. I've mentioned that there were deputies that helped you back in shade. and you know that their wagon is down at the homestead where the bandits were staying. You might want to go back and collect those people. You know about the Navajo village. Are you searching explicitly for it, or are you tearing up, looking at the mountain specifically for Elijah? But before we dive into all of that, well, I suppose you can start the conversation. While you're diving into all of that, can you make me a power check, please, Griff?
Uh-oh. I certainly can. That is a failure.
Okay, fantastic. In which case, which of you has the highest power apart from Griff?
Unlikely me.
80?
80? All right, Mac. As I think that's higher, unless Doc, do you have higher power than 80? Okay. Mac, as you're strolling along, you catch a glance over at Griff, and I made that comment about hatred almost exuding off him. No, it almost really is like it is. You can almost see a shimmer in the air. This isn't in the abstract anymore. For a second, you see waves of dark energy pouring off his body, and you're going to make me a sanity check, and then it's gone.
Well, that ain't good. No,
Okay.
it's just the heat haze. It's just the heat haze.
With that sanity pass, no sanity loss, and you think, wow, strange, but, well, what are you going to do? What's your answer to the questions I posed previously? The body?
I mean, we had a pretty clear plan, didn't we? Griff and I are going to go around and meet with the Navajo. 2 of you are going to go right at the front of her. We already talked to them deputies. They're coming up in the armored wagon when the sun rises. And leave that sucker on the ground. Crows can get to him.
That's the plan.
Rock and roll.
It just sounds like it'll take too long.
Griff, we're going as quick as we can. I don't know what you want.
Well, I look up the mountain in sort of the vague direction where I think my guess is that Smythe is in the old Spanish
the old Spanish fort. Now, that information was given to you in sort of a meta sense at the end of the game, so your character explicitly know about it.
Well, then staring up into the tops of the mountains, the furthest point
that look
away
a lot like Spanish forts.
Yeah. and at the homestead that is on our way there, and I go, well, why are we going to the Navajo village anyway?
Because we reckon he's going to take a swing at him. Griff, they're the ones that we reckon he's going to make an example of. You don't want innocents to get hurt, do you? We got to secure people first, then we can take care of
Best
them.
way to stop innocent people dying is by killing this son of a bitch.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of killing. I'm all with you. If you want to head back down this mountain, we'll meet up with the other two. We can go right up the front. That armored wagon's going to get there.
Okay, we're not together.
Yeah, we did a whole Assassin's Creed thing up the top. They're down there looking at us through binoculars. Look, give him a wave. Hi, y'all.
All right, Grace. Let's go to the village and see what's there.
I mean, they're coming. They'll just, we're just doing a little rounding.
All right.
Am I right? Is that was the plan, right? That's what I think. That's not me.
That you had enough time to gather together because you were close enough that the body that fell off the perch landed exactly in front of.
Yeah, because we hawked it.
Pretty close.
Fucking huge.
It's also totally fine. You two can. The four of you can have shared a wave and continued. It's perfect. You are essentially gathered together, reasonably close to each other. But yes, that was the continued plan. So you're going to continue with the split, and more importantly, I wanted to focus on the fact that you are not going back to the homestead. You are not doing anything with the body. You are continuing on your paths for the time being.
Unless I was mistaken, I think Mac and I were headed to the homestead. Like, that was our eventual destination, was it not?
Well, you can turn back towards the homestead.
Homestead's back the other way.
Right, okay.
Yeah. Think of the locations like this. You've basically come up this path, and the homestead is behind you. It's over here. The path will head out further into the mountains, or you can split off and go to where you think the Navajo village might be.
All right. So anyway, either way, we should stick together rather than splitting up.
I thought we wanted to loop around the back wherever the bandits are camped out, and then hopefully find them before dawn, so that we can pincer them at dawn when the sheriff and his deputies
and we left our horses down there so that we could get round, and the idea was the armored wagon's going to come right up. They'll think Griff's inside, so they're not just going to blow it up because he needs to talk shit to him. Then while they're focusing that, we get him, and we're going to secure the Navajo village first to make sure they haven't been taking hostages or doing nefarious
Isn't that
things.
at the homestead then? Isn't that where most of the there's a good chunk of bandits camped at the homestead, aren't there? That's behind us. We are behind the homestead.
You believed that there were a chunk of bandits who were there, and you sent the armored wagon with the deputies in it straight up. The wagon has now stopped outside of that homestead and is there. It's basically, you've sort of bypassed it. You prioritized getting further up last time. So this would be a backtrack, but you know that there are potential allies, and of course, the bonus of having a potential tank on your side if you can bring that thing any further up the mountains.
Okay,
But
so they're held up at the homestead.
Oh, if that's the case,
if we want that, we have to go back and grab
also, if we don't
And the
want them to
homestead
get
is-
attacked.
The homestead is what they're attacking at dawn?
I don't know. I think they're at the homestead, are they?
they jumped the gun. So just to jump back a little,
Add him to the
jump
list
back a
of
little bit.
useless sheriffs.
Well, not all sheriffs are perfect. Times are wasted. I just want to flag the situation that you're in.
Yeah.
The sun is setting. From your perspective, here's what happened. The collection of you came up towards the mountain at the break of dawn. So you left right in the morning. You moved all the way around the outside. You got to the back of this ridge, well out of sight, and you spent the entire day climbing, heading out. After a couple of hours, you know that your allies in the wagon appeared, and you headed further and further up this trail. Eventually, you found out where the wagon was, and you spotted it off to one side. It was outside the homestead, and further up, you figured that you wanted to burn up there. They were essentially behind you, so you continued up. You've had this encounter, you've had this ambush, and now you have the choice of going back and sort of securing that if you want to be heading up slowly and methodically, or you can continue powering ahead.
Look, personally, my decision, I think we all meet up together. I think it's just a simpler thing. But my say is that we continue on. Ain't nothing gained by going back. The sheriff's got enough deputies with him. They can deal with whatever's at the homestead. We got to head up to that whatever. We got to head up and deal with the head honcho, with Smythe. Are you with me?
Sure play.
Yeah, I reckon they can handle themselves.
All right. I will agree that we can go via the Navajo and see what they have to say.
All right. Excellent. So the collection of you get on the road then. You start moving further up, heading deeper into the mountains. And you're making a detour round towards where you expect this Navajo village is going to be. You're having to follow some elements of tracks. And actually, speaking of which, I'd like somebody to make a track check. And I'd like somebody who's not making the track check to make a survival check.
Uh-oh.
Yikes.
Two fingers on the nose. They're,
I will roll if I suspect no one has any track, whereas people might have a bit of survival.
I got 25 track and no survival.
Okay, so then we'll swap those. I'll do the survival, you do the track. Okay. Oof.
Oh, okay.
Beautiful.
Excellent.
There's not a critical failure. It's just
Not a
above
critical
50.
failure. Neither of you, though, are having any success. You start to wander through, and you are pretty sure immediately, Mac, that you're going to be able to find where this Navajo village is. You've tracked people down through more difficult areas before, or so you think. But the tracks here are confusing, and the land is, well, it's rough, and you keep finding yourself encountering ridges that you need to weave through, and your mind is elsewhere, to be frank. You keep glancing back at Griff, and although you can't see that energy radiating off him this time, there's something that's setting you a little on edge about the way he's carrying himself. Meanwhile, Griff, you are focused, and with this failure, I think what actually happens is you're so focused that you don't point out to everybody that the sun is rapidly beginning to crest lower and lower and lower, and it is tearing towards nightfall. All of a sudden, just as the collection of you round a small section of rocky outcroppings and see a more formal trail up towards a collection of small wooden houses and tents, which obviously seem to be your destination, you realize that it's dusk and you've only got at best half an hour before the entire mountain is plunged into darkness. You're outside the village.
Strange, considering I think we set off at the night.
Yeah, no, it's been a whole. So you'd be climbing.
Okay,
a
we've been
mountain.
fucking around for a whole day.
No,
Okay.
you set off. You set off at in the early hours of the night. You went directly across an entire plain. You went round the base of a mountain range. You climbed the back of the mountain range. Then you climbed up a huge outcropping, went back down, and continued climbing throughout the day. It's been a long ass day.
All right. Okay. Do we see the camp though?
You can see the Navajo, what looks like what appears to be the Navajo village up ahead. Yes, you don't have a good line of sight on it yet, but you can see that there's something there. Couple of structures.
Are there folks moving, Mac?
You can't see anyone straight away, but you can make a spot hidden check if you'd like to spot finer detail.
Hit them with binoculars.
I would care to. Any kind of bonus from my, as Greece termed them, knockies?
No, if you pull out your binoculars, you can immediately, you don't even have to make a check. You get a proper glance at everything, and the night has just not fallen yet, and you can actually spot that there appears to be traces of blood smeared across some parts of the tents, and there's bullet holes in some of the houses.
Oh dear. Would I? Well, I would care to make a check anyway.
Sure.
I might tick it, and see what I can get out of that. But
the luck
not
has
much
been
good.
Amazing.
This is balancing out your last session.
Yes,
Jackson.
2 crits in 1 session, and now I'm paying for it. Oops. All right, as we were.
All right, we're heading down.
You take your binoculars down, Mac. You've seen the blood. You've seen the signs of some kind of battle.
Keep it slow and steady. There ain't no one living down there. See bullet holes, and I see blood. Just keep one hand on your steel.
That fits. I believe it. All right.
I mean, is there any sense in heading down, or is that a... I mean, if we know where they are...
And if there ain't anyone alive down there.
Well, we don't know that. Could be some hurt and wounded who could tell us more on what we know.
All right, we can get the doc to them.
All right. Let's go check it out.
Okay, perfect.
Come all this way anyway.
One eye on the horizon.
All right, so you head towards the small village, and as you get closer, this eerie sense descends over you. You get close enough to be able to actually see the stains of blood, which begin to glisten as the moon starts to rise behind you. And you move through it carefully, glancing from one side to the other, but nothing leaps out at you except for shadows. At one point, one of you steps forward and your foot nudges the pools of blood just enough to see that they are still gluey and sticky, not fully dried. This is recent, or at least recent-ish. Another thing you notice is that there are no bodies that you can see. There's not corpses, and the damage that has been done, while relatively severe, is not catastrophic. It's not like what you saw in the past, Griff. It is instead more like, there was an assault perhaps on this village, more like what you saw in Shade, actually. As you're moving through, all of a sudden, one of you hears this kind of low groan from one of the small huts to one side. An anguished kind of grunt of agony, low down and weak, but someone's talking or someone's saying something.
Hey, Mac, I think your Navajo's a little bit better than mine. Do you want to shout out that we don't mean him no harm?
Yeah, give it a try. Yeah, I've got 40 in American Indian language. I don't know if that reflects these folks' dialects, but I'll give it a go if that will help.
Sure, make a check.
Hey.
All right,
Hey,
for hard
nice.
success,
All right.
you do speak some Navajo, and you throw out a couple of words, waiting for an answer. There's silence for a couple of seconds, and then the pained voice says, "Help! Hurry!"
All right.
I think they're going to need you in there, and I
Well, hold on. We don't know for sure he's friendly. Could be anyone in there. So we go slow, we go steady, we keep hands on iron.
Fair enough. All right. We I think we enter with weapons drawn then, do we? Or do we
Right.
hands on
I
guns?
think, yeah, maybe now's the time to take it out. You know, not everyone who calls out for help is actually looking for it.
It's a good call.
Okay. The collection of you move carefully into the hut and take a glance around. It's a small, modest little building with a combination of basic furniture and some trinkets hanging from the walls. To one side, slumped against one of the walls, is a quite old man. He looks possibly in his late 70s, maybe early 80s, a very, very wrinkled face that's been blasted by the sun over decades. And he's holding his side, which clearly has, you know, an enormous wound in it. There's blood pooling everywhere. He's lost a prestigious amount of it. And he's awake, but kind of slipping in and out of consciousness as you watch him. He looks towards the collection of you and starts to kind of mumble under his breath. With a hard success, you don't need to make a check again. And he's saying something like, you know, the mountain, they're up the mountain, they're in the fort. They're in the fort, they took everyone.
Doc, you want to see how long you can keep him awake?
I'll do my best.
And
Doc,
do your best to help him as well, like heal him.
you rush forward, Doc. Meanwhile, Grease, you're at the back. Are you keeping watch at this kind of point in time? What's Grease doing?
Yeah, I'm gonna head back to the road, make sure no one sneaks up on us.
Okay, perfect.
If I start shooting, y'all run.
Brilliant. You head back outside and you head back to the road. Is there anything you want to do, or are you just generally keeping watch?
Yeah, keep
All
watch.
right. Make a spot hidden for me if you would, and we'll jump back across to inside the tent. Doc, you bend down and you start treating this man. Now, it says explicitly here in the book that this is a particularly nasty wound and asks for either an extreme first aid or a hard medicine check. So this is the challenge you've been waiting for. As you bend down, you can see the damage that's been done is very, very severe. This man is old and his body isn't ready to be shot at. No one's is, but he is particularly not.
I guess I
See what you got in your bag of tricks.
medicine is.
Oh,
Ooh,
got him.
Okay,
barely.
fantastic.
But
All right, you go into full work mode and you move this man's hand aside and he grunts in discomfort, but pretty quickly you're working and you're managing to move towards saving his life. It's going to be a long and involved process, but for now you should be able to keep him stable enough to treat later, or to at least have a conversation with him for now before he needs rest. He's looking around frantically between the two of you. Griff, can I get you to make a language test as well, just to see what you're able to pick up and what you're able to contribute to this conversation? Okay, unfortunately, Navajo, you never really picked up the dialect too much. You maybe get a couple of scattered words that you've heard here and there, but by and large, Mac is having to be the one to translate. He's sort of leaning towards you, and he spotted your marshal's badge, and he's saying, "You're here. You're hunting down the crazed man."
Yeah, that's what we're here for. Can you tell us anything? How many were they?
There were 5 or 6 of them came to the village, started shooting, started yelling, started rounding everyone up, bringing them up into the mountains. I think those folks are hiding out at the Spanish fort. It's an old one. It'd been abandoned for a long time. They gathered around the lake, the mountain lake, right at the top.
How many hostages they take? Did you get a count?
From here is maybe 15 of us. I was the only one who refused to go, and I was shot.
Well, the doc's gonna do his damn best to make you comfortable. Just hold on a little longer.
He starts kind of saying, believe me, you have to go, you have to save the others. It'll take too long. Doc, it won't take too long. You're already done. You've managed to succeed this in tearing through the process.
Matt, can you ask him how long ago it was that they got taken?
I ask.
About a day ago.
About a day ago.
You think it is probable that this was done right after the snatch and grab that occurred at Shade.
Gotcha.
Makes sense. It was all at the same time. All right, sir. They got some folks from down in the town of Shade as well, but don't you worry. There's us and some sheriff and a couple of deputies gonna bring the fight to them. Gonna make sure everyone gets out alive.
Can you make me an intimidation check, please, Mac? I want to see how much metal you look like you have. Whether you seem like you can get this done. Meanwhile, to let you know outside Greece, you're glancing around and you can start to see up in the hills, much further away in the distance, a faint glow of fires. The kind of thing that you wouldn't have noticed when you were first out in the west, but now having done a lot of climbing about and scanning the horizon, you're starting to be able to spot these kinds of things.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. All right, that's a hard pushing on extreme success.
It is an extreme.
It is an extreme
1-0,
success.
10.
Wow. Okay, so
This is great. I'm intimidating them and they're not even here.
Boo.
this man looking at you kind of nods once or twice, and he gestures towards one side of the building. And you can see he's got a collection, like a small collection of chests and personal effects to one side. And he's going to start saying, in there's Jish. You need to bring them. There's enough for everybody.
That's a word I don't know.
You can make an occult check.
Occult?
Yes.
Well, things just got interesting.
Things just got real weird.
Ooh,
Oh, okay.
I would
All right.
I would care to spend 12 points of luck to find out
Sure.
what a jish
Absolutely.
is when it's at
See your
home.
luck. Very, very slow.
You gave it to me.
What's a jish when it's at home?
Okay, well, a jish when it's at home is it is basically a bundle of protective. It's essentially a bundle of like herbs and trinkets. It's a medicine bundle, but it is imbued with spirits of protection, and it will keep you safe, or at least that is the purpose of these artifacts.
I will frown inwardly, but betray no sense, and just say thank you, sir.
Okay. He seems to relax and then kind of looks at you, waiting for you to go and take the jishes. Will you do so?
I will,
Okay.
just to be polite.
All right. So you take out a collection of 4 small bundles of basically wrapped herbs and cloth all together and take a look towards them. Some of them are vaguely doll-like in shape. You can hand them out. Doc, you basically get this man in enough of a state that he just needs to sleep now. So you can leave him here and continue on your way. But if you have any other questions for him, he is still in a fit state to communicate with the collection with you.
I don't speak Indian, so I have no idea what was being said.
No, unfortunately, you do not.
Reckon some folks were taken hostage from here about a day ago, same time as the assault on Shade. And about 15 or so. Told them we'd do our best to get them back, and they'd like us to have these.
Can I stick my head back in as he's explaining it? I had the intention of letting him know I'd seen a fire on the hill.
Yep.
And I go, did he say how many were taken?
About 15 or so.
Is that all of them, or where's the other dead?
Other dead? You translate a little bit back and forth. The village was small. There's no.
I mean, ain't there blood and bullets everywhere? How the hell do you were the only one that got hit?
Couple of people got hit. No one got killed. There's wounds, sure, but 1 or 2 shots. A lot of blood. A lot of scare people. No one else dead.
And the blood, that level of whatever dryness, that's consistent with a day, is it, Doc?
You can make an additional medicine check to verify the story.
Because I thought it would have dried up in the heat like this.
Ooh.
This is consistent, particularly for the parts that were shaded out. You actually think that as you're looking at it, if you got a hard success, you might have thought, oh, there's a bit much blood. Maybe the people are really, really wounded quite badly, if that's the case. With an extreme success, you manage to sort of mention how actually the arterial spray from this would have been, but not so severe that somebody could have been pointing around. No,
2 hobbits lay here.
This is consistent, and the level of dryness presented by any blood should land squarely on the shoulders of the keeper, and not the deductive reasoning of the number.
I got all riled up about a mystery or something, but looks like everything's copacetic.
I take my was it Gist or Gist?
Gish. I think. Well, I'm
Gish.
probably pronouncing it completely
No,
wrong.
I don't. I've never heard the word pronounced before, so I will go with you. I will take my Gish and place it around my neck
Okay, fantastic.
boldly.
Hell, do I get one?
Yeah, we all got one.
Yeah, enough for everyone.
What do these do?
Well, got some spirits and
Right.
magic in there, gonna keep us safe.
Hell, nice. All right. Yeah, give it here. I'll put it next to my bandana. Very nice.
Grease, between this and the miracle cure-all, you are completely safe.
I'm a little concerned I'm going to be unstoppable. One of y'all are going to start need to put together like a Batman plan with kryptonite and stuff in case I get out of control. One of you is going to need to bring me down.
Given that I was removing a bullet from the old man,
Yep.
and Griff saw what I did to the fish person with the bullet remover, I'm just gonna hold it up and look at him. I think we got you covered.
All right, good. I just want to make sure we're all, clear.
I will also take one, and I'm probably put it in like my breast pocket.
Perfect. All right. It's slightly prickly, but it fits.
What does it smell like?
You know what?
He's gonna ask us. He's gonna ask us what. He has no idea. He's gonna ask us what it smells like.
If he asks us, say lavender.
Because I have such excellent tools of improvisation and deep knowledge of, it's been in this house that where there's a campfire that goes off a lot, so it's smoky. That's what it smells like.
Okay, I'm gonna stop you there because you said this has got medicinal herbs in it, and Joseph has been around in the West for a while. I'm pretty sure he'd be able to pick out medicinal herbs. So come on, Jamie, give us something.
Okay, medicinal herbs. You know what? After the break,
Poison
I'll give you a
ivy.
detailed explanation of everything.
Dandelions.
It's got an earthy hempen smell.
I'll tell you what. Let's as a peace offering. How about I give you a picture of the scene as imagined by the Shadows of Stillwater book.
A little voodoo doll. Cool.
So there you go.
There's a lot like Woodstock in the 70s.
It's a good vibe.
Could I see the picture again quickly, James?
Absolutely.
The text.
Oh yeah. I'm trying to read this. I'm trying to read the scenario end. No, sorry, I missaw it. Okay.
I have something I'd like to do before I leave the village, but it's actually not to do with the village. It's just before we continue on to the next part.
Fantastic. Well, there is one thing that you should note as well is that I mentioned it's getting late. It is getting late and you have climbed all day. If you want to put off rescuing the prisoners until tomorrow, you could sleep. And I say that sarcastically, but actually, you are tired. You'll need to make con checks if you don't. You already got a bad night's sleep the night before because you left in the early hours of the dawn.
Well, as far as we can tell, the deputies and the sheriff are going to attack at dawn.
I think they attacked at last dawn and they attacked the homestead. That was
now
the
I'm
plan.
lost.
Yeah, they attacked the homestead at dawn.
You remember that listen check that you didn't quite make the last time when you were climbing up?
I do not, but go on.
Okay. That listen check that contained critical information as to what happened to the sheriffs. That was the that would.
I
explain
hate
everything.
sheriffs.
It is the
Of
missing
course.
piece of this puzzle.
All
Yeah,
right.
I think the plan was to attack the homestead at dawn.
Now I'm caught up because they don't know that they're in the fort, of course.
Yeah,
we do.
they think that's the final.
But also, they don't know that we've bypassed the homestead and we've come up this way, so
No.
their forces ought to be split as well. We still got the advantage.
Well, they're going to carry on and head on up the mountain.
I don't think they know about the existence of the fort.
I tell you what, let's leave it with the sheriff. He's going to prove his mettle. Or the absence thereof.
Better than any other sheriff so far.
As an aside.
Look, I for one would be eager to continue through the night, but if y'all are against me, we can stay.
Doc?
I don't think, based on what they're doing, doesn't look like they're hurting anyone till you get up close.
You ain't met these folks before. I can almost guarantee they are hurting these people.
Well, depends on how many of them you want me to save, because if I'm tired, I'm a mite less efficient and capable than if I'm not.
Mac, what's your figuring?
Mac.
Like
we'll
coming
never
up against them without a good night's rest. But well, if Griff thinks they're in danger, then hardly want to keep from saving them.
Grace, you got 2 cents on this?
Raring to go, Griff. I don't need
think we
sleep.
carry on. Let's do what we can before it's too late.
I think so too.
Okay, so you turn about with your Jish now protecting you and head up first. Griff, you said you wanted to do something in the village.
Yeah, as we leave the village, anyway, before we continue too far, I want to keep an eye out. I want to see if I can see any trees nearby that may have especially thick sap.
Sure, I'll tell you what. Make me a luck check and we'll find just how thick the sap of the nearby trees
May I
are.
please make a natural world check?
Certainly, that also works.
Okay, I skimmed it.
Okay, that's fine. No, you can find something that has sap thick enough to, I suppose, serve the purposes, I presume, unless you're needing buckets of the stuff.
No, I need, at most, like less than a fistful.
That is fine.
And I would like it to be a fairly malleable and sticky sap.
Sure. All right. You collect one such thing.
And fairly solid.
Excellent. Yeah. You grab it all. Are you just keeping it for now, storing it somewhere, or are you?
Yeah. I asked the dog if I can borrow one of his jars or something to put it in, or like a vial or something. I gotta put this. I put this sap. I'm holding it in my hand as I walk up to you.
Yeah.
You got a jar or something, Doc? I think you're muted there, Doc. I can't hear you, Doc. What are you saying?
What? Sorry, I was looking through my bag. I imagine I probably have a spare.
You absolutely do.
bottle
You
of
pick up something and you
dish
top it
or
forward.
something like that.
A dish.
I put it in my pocket.
All right. Fantastic.
That's all I want to do with that.
And so you continue on the way, heading further and further up now into the mountain, leaving the small Navajo village behind you. You start to get further and further up, and the road gets more and more difficult. What's more is you are tired. You start having to one by one climb, and you're really sort of edging up overhangs and sort of throwing yourself up. There's no path, so to speak, as much as there's only one way that you could possibly ascend here. As the area gets more and more difficult, you start to come across signs that other people have encountered the same problems in their climb. The first thing that you find is you find a collection of horses, and they are dead. They have been, rather than being tied up, they have been shot down, and they are off towards one side, left, and they've been out in the sun for a little bit. But we now know that their blood is not dry, so they are still as if sleeping until you get close. As you go further and further up, I need everyone to make a constitution check.
Yep.
This is, you are now getting exhausted.
Shit.
Okay. You're starting to have a little bit of trouble, staying focused, and it's
It's just past Grace's bedtime.
Normally I ain't allowed to stay this late, and I had sugar earlier, so it's gonna hit.
Why? Question.
Yes.
I have many tinctures, tonics, and various things for various ailments. And I have I assume, a not insignificant amount of cocaine, because that was in the doctor's bag back in the day. Would I be able to administer a small amount of stimulant to our young friend? Because remember, I have no guilt, therefore I do not give it.
Absolutely. Well, I was about to ask you if you wanted to push this roll, Grease. So if you would like to push this roll, the doctor can provide you with some kind of stimulant. You can push using your constitution skill once again, and the penalty will be that if this fails, you are going to be just so out of it, so physically exhausted, mentally strained, mentally on edge, that the only thing that will calm you down is, what is it that the doc gave you last time again? Because you really need some more of that, and until you get some, man, you're not going to be firing with full cylinders.
I just feel like I'd be operating at 100% efficiency if I had a little nip or whatever that was earlier. Or you got something else? I mean, I'm open
You know what would
to
be the
try
best
anything.
idea? Combining both of them.
Well, let's try the cocaine first, shall we?
All right. Yeah. No. Sweet.
That.
Give us
A
a bump.
rousing tincture of cocaine. Welcome to 18th century, 19th century.
It was the
Please.
1880s.
Yeah, 18th.
Fire away. Give me a... And with hard success in the Constitution, you are able to force yourself forward and you continue up. Now,
I feel good, guys. Let's do shots.
Oh, dear. Now, you were tired long enough. And first of all, I need everyone to make a climb check.
Okay. Uh-oh.
Cocaine climb.
Grease, you're
Because I'm
moving
gonna-
forward at such a rate, and part of the reason, sorry, I'm just going to interrupt you so quickly, Doc. You were tearing forward at such a rate when you were climbing, and that's how you originally got tired, because you'd get to the top, and then you'd have to sit there and wait for everyone else. And bit by bit, you'd...
I just got to keep moving. That's the thing. It's what Doc was saying about objects at rest and motion and what the hell ever. Got to keep moving.
Exactly.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, it is critical in all ways.
For some reason, the
so-
doctor now knows about physics.
Hey, you're a smart gentleman.
Everyone's succeeded except for poor old Griff. Griff, can I get 9 points of luck from you?
Yeah, fuck
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Oh, yes. What did you want to say, Doc?
Because I wanted to ask what the penalty would be if I failed, because if it's going to be bad, Doc might actually just go, no.
Oh, for the climb, you mean? Okay. So, look, it is getting really, really difficult to progress, quite simply. If you are not willing to make a climb check, you're going to need someone else to basically either get such a spectacular climb check that they are able to assist you through everything, or you will be unable to progress without taking damage.
I'm happy to make a climb check. I just wanted to know what the fail would involve.
The fail for now will basically just involve, like, is it I can't do this, we need to stop, and then you find another way, or you forge on and take a penalty as a result.
Let's find out.
All right. Instant death. Yeah, that's basically the plan. Okay. Look, these climbs are way too difficult, but unfortunately, for just a hard success and a regular success, neither of these two are really in a position. They're too busy focusing on their own procedure for climbing, even if Mac is doing his with a certain amount of aplomb and style. So, I will be looking for a push check, I suppose.
I don't think Doc wants to do that. I think he is more willing to try when there is light and
Okay.
to see or find another way round, because
Yep.
he does not climb, and currently he's tired and he doesn't really care.
That's fair enough. So as you're moving forward, Doc, what does it look like when you come to this realization? Do you just hit a wall? Like, do you hit a literal wall? Is there an ascent that you're going to have to make and you shake your head? No, can't do it. For the rest?
He definitely attempts.
Yep.
And then I think, like, after a few attempts, gets a mixture of, like, frustrated, which is
Yep.
unusual for Doc, and sort of just, like, sits back against this cliff face, like, knees up, and just kind of looks annoyed. Which,
Okay.
as I said, not super usual for Doc.
As the collection of you are watching Doc, you see his face fall and he kind of looks frustrated, angry, exactly as has been described, and he sits down. The collection of you are just starting to get towards the top now when you see the Doc seemingly give up.
I believe we took plenty of climbing equipment with us.
Oh, we did too.
You did. You could provide a pushed roll with advantage. Using the...
We could toss down some ropes.
We're damn near there, Doc.
So just to be clear, if you're pushing the roll, you are reattempting, and you will, like, this is you hardcore committing. This will be the pushed roll. You'll have advantage on it, but it will still be a climb check.
Can't sit here all night.
Waves the flask.
Yeah.
I think it takes him a moment.
Yeah.
Like, there's probably a point where everyone else is like, maybe not going to happen. And then he'll get off and dust himself off and be like, if I have to first aid myself, you ain't hearing the last of it.
Get up here. I got a tonic for you.
Oof,
All
that's
right.
close.
Roll.
Oh, you can't.
No, you
block a
can't.
push roll, can
Can't
you?
like a pushed roll. So
The
you-
bonus.
bonus
So
die,
chuck in a bonus die. 1 in 5 chance.
Oh,
That's
instant death.
Okay.
2 off.
2 off. So Doc, you kind of this is not you. It's dark. You're not taking this cautiously. You're going too fast. It's all out of whack. And at least you have the equipment. That's something. And you start to climb up. You actually manage to get to the top of this ridge, and it's kind of a silly injury that gets to you at the end. You get up and you manage to make it the whole way through, and you feel, I guess, Doc's emotions are slightly different now after his encounter with strange things down in the depths of mines. But do you feel relief in a standard way, a success, when you immediately, would you relax, so to speak? I've done it.
The most emotions are still running as normal. There is frustration, there is anger, there is relief, there is compassion, there is joy, there is excitement, there's just no guilt.
Excellent. Okay. So you feel relieved, you take a step forward, and you forgot to unfasten yourself. And your foot is just pulled out from behind you, and you take a nasty fall, landing face first with a crack as the side of your head takes the brunt of a sharp impact with the ground. You can take a D4 of damage.
Wonderful. I am also going to swear loudly,
Yeah.
snake.
Oh,
Okay,
no.
fair enough. This loud narcal hiss breaks the air. Oh! Ow! Okay, you
As a
pull
chunk.
yourself up, with blood dripping from a gash across the side of your head. You're certain that several snakes in the area suddenly poked their heads up and went, "What was that?"
Can I do anything about that myself?
First aid yourself, you mean? Yes.
Yeah. Well,
Absolutely. You can make a hard first aid check since you were treating yourself.
okay.
Dog, if we ain't got time, y'all can have a sip of my tonic.
You start to pat at your head. First aid, he gives you a single hit point. So it's not
mainly just.
even in
I'm mainly
pulp?
more interested in like stopping bleeding and stuff, which I think I did not get a hard. So
You
I
can
guess.
do all of the simple kind of, you bandage it up, but you still have the damage taken is the point. You clean it up, you make sure it's not going to get infected. You're skilled enough to be able to do that.
Do I want a single hit point for 10 points of luck?
Is it not a
It might be
D4
2.
for pulp?
Let me double check.
If it's
I'm
more
on
than
it.
one, I will give you luck for it. If it's only one, hell, if the party loses their doctor, that's their problem.
Yeah, it's not great.
So since we're using the rules for pulp Cthulhu,
Yes.
a use of first aid grants 1d4 hit points.
Nice.
Okay, yes. Unfortunately, I'm using keepers.
As an option,
Yes,
keepers may
please.
award an automatic 4 hit points recovery with an extreme success.
Oh, okay.
You
With
can
an
actually
extreme.
heal yourself for a D4 if you
You know what? You may have 10 points of luck because I'm pretty sure what's going to happen
that's worth it.
is I'm going to roll a 1. And
Okay.
I want this.
Memorialize the sheer bad luck.
Let us have a look.
So oh, okay.
That's not bad.
Yeah,
That's not
pretty
bad.
good. Yeah, not bad. That was
Not
worth it,
bad.
I think. All right. So you've still got a slight cut across the top of your head, but it's nothing too serious. You'll be fine as you pull yourself up. But you do feel a surge of frustration. You have to do that. You try to pull yourself up immediately, but you kind of fall down again slightly, and you end up kicking at the ropes that are tangled
There is-
now around your legs.
There is much like cursing in both American, Western, and
Narcal.
Narcal.
Darn tootin'.
Perfect.
It's a combination of hissing, whether or not it's just frustrated hissing or literal words, who knows? But there's a lot of hiss.
Exactly. Okay, so eventually the collection of you sort of managed to untangle yourselves, those of you that were tangled up in ropes, and you continue on your path, heading further and further up to the top of the mountain. You're getting more and more aware of a building heat, almost a physical radiating warmth that seems to be coming from within the mountain itself. It reminds you of when you were inside the serpent person lair and you felt that constant pressure of the heat from inside the lair. beaming out. It's similar, even though this one's more abstract. It's almost at the edge of your perception rather than this oppressive feeling that is cloying all across your bodies. You continue to climb up further and further, heading into the mountains themselves. And I want somebody to make a spot hidden right after we take a short break, because our break time has arrived and we will be back in 10 minutes. We'll see you all again soon. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Stream of Chaos. This second half is going to be killer. There is some great stuff coming in. Let's start it off with a spot hidden check right away, where we were when we left off. You're climbing up the mountain. You don't know what's happening. One of you, whoever has the best score, needs to make me a spot hidden check.
I'll do it at 65,
Okay.
I think.
All yours.
Anyone's got me beat. There you go. Have a little slice of that, and you can have.
Okay, fantastic. That is a fail.
Cut yourself up 4 points of luck there. I feel like this is.
Get yourself
Buy
4
yourself
points
something
of
nice.
fresh luck
Okay.
right off the bottom.
Can I convince you to give me, say,
Another.
a hard success was worth?
Another 33, I think.
Yeah.
Not.
What about an extreme?
Another quick maths. Another 52.
66 total.
Okay, fantastic. In
I was at
which case,
56.
as you are climbing up the mountain, you approach a small ledge where you can see that there's been some scuffs movement. People have obviously trafficked this area before. And as you're moving up, your mind flashes back to the sniper lying in ambush for you before, as you look around the area and think, this would be the perfect location, tactically, for an ambush. And as that occurs
Academically.
to you can almost see, you're not even sure. If we got a play-by-play, I don't think your eyes ever flicked towards where the sniper's nest is. You just knew on some level that it was about to happen. And with a success, you are aware that you are about to be fired upon, or that your group is about to be fired upon. And I will let you throw yourself to the ground and completely remove you as a target entirely without any roll. Or you can try and tackle someone to the ground and keep them safe too. And potentially risk you both.
I'd go for a tackle. Who can I grab?
Okay, you spin sideways and you can see all of the others are near you. You're right at the edge, so all of you are scrambling up, unhooking your climbing equipment, when all of a sudden you see Mag just go from completely relaxed to bang action in a second, leaping towards one of you. Who do you like best, Mac?
I'm a child in a war zone.
I'm an old man who.
You can't play it both ways. I'm going for the doc.
I'm a man.
I would
Okay,
be like,
It
and
is
I say
the
nothing.
correct decision.
All right. So as the two of you are looking around, you spin around, Mac, and you dive forward. You have great dexterity, but I want to see it in action here. I'm going to need a success to tackle Doc to the ground, and for the both of you to be safe from incoming bullets.
And you're going to get one.
Oh,
That's how it's
I
done.
got him.
Fantastic. Okay. With an extreme success, I've got to give you something else. It's a give and take kind of situation here.
Oh,
so
very good.
let me tell you, you can pick, if you'd like, I will let you get you both, like you can tackle Doc behind a rock and you're now both solidly in cover. Or you can just fall down, you'll basically just be harder to hit, but you can also yell, get down to the others or something like that and give them a chance to react. I will never know. when
Y'all
to
are
decide.
muted.
It's, unfortunately, the mute came up.
Oops. I will
It's our
call out a
greatest
warning.
villain.
That's the polite thing to do in such a situation.
All right. Mac leaps to action, dives forward, slams into the Doc, who is still attached by some ropes, and the two of you land down in the dust. Doc, you almost risk banging your head, where you still have this injury kept in tow. You hear Mac croak out, "Get down!" and the two of you spin around just in time to see not one, but two shapes from various ridges poke themselves up suddenly, rifles at the ready, and begin to open fire. Now, because you managed to get that extreme success, we are not going to have a surprise round. They're not going to get free shots off at the collection of you. We are just going to go straight to dexterity order. Mac, we're going to treat what you did as a dodge. So you're going to be left off the roster, I'm afraid, for this first round. And we're going to go straight across to Greece. You hear Mac's warning. You spin around. You can see two figures leaning up. They're both out of pistol range. You'll need to start moving towards them. They're shooting from a distance. Oh, but you're a pretty good shot. You might be able to make one.
Can I get a word in? Can I get a word in?
Absolutely. Sorry.
Oh, no. Sorry. To Greece.
Yeah, please.
Can I get a word into Greece?
How can I help you?
I turn to Greece and I go, Greece, run! And I pull out my long gun. And, I don't pull it out yet. But
you start to swing it up.
Yeah.
Have they fired yet? They haven't, have they?
They have not.
All right. What range? Like, am I within like long? It's a penalty die. If I run, am I within range? What's the go ski?
Look, they really set this up knowing that you would come over. They are going to be in effectively medium range for a rifle, which is, let me just bring up my Down Darker Trails book here and get that information for you. Okay, here we go. Rifles, they're going to be using these. Okay. So they're going to be about 120 yards away from you.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
120?
Yeah, so double the base range, which is a long range shot, for them.
Oh, okay. I don't think they can hit me. It's fine. I'll keep walking. I'm confident.
Right, so you're heading.
They couldn't hit an elephant at this.
Yeah, I'll keep walking, and if they're looking through the scope.
Okay, so are you walking towards them, or are you continuing up to?
We just ignore them. They're on the side. Just go right through, and no, I'll just keep going up to the fort.
Okay, so to be clear, this is very much that you're climbing up like a pretty steep ridge, and then there's like ledges off to the side, and two gunmen have popped up, and they're aiming at the collection of you.
I don't think they can hit me.
All right.
And if we can, I'll run. I won't just walk, but
Your understanding of rifles is just mechanically they'll get shots. They'll aim at you.
Do they get a penalty die? They get a penalty die?
If they aim, they won't.
So they spend a round. I can't get to them. It would take me like 3 days of running towards them to get there. I have a range of 15 yards.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I have a 15 yards, and Doc does it like we're not dealing with them. We can't. We just need to keep running.
Okay, so you're powering forward. You're not. I got the impression
and if possible,
that you're actually walking along.
Well, I will if I can aggravate them to shooting me, because I'm the best one to be shot because I can dodge them.
Okay.
So I will probably walk and let them, and so that they think they can shoot me.
Okay. All right. So you begin to draw their attention. You're sort of waving around to the collection of them, and they're pretty happy to oblige. So their guns are going to flash towards you. Now, of the remaining people, just to be clear, they don't appear to be aiming for Griff, at least at this stage. Both of their guns flash towards you, and the other two are out of range. So next along is the Doc. What would you like to be doing? You're tackled to the ground, you collapse down, and you've got Mac on top of you.
I think I sort of shake myself free of Mac a little and just say, what are we doing?
Stand low, stand quiet till we see him.
Is there a handy rock to hide behind?
Absolutely. You scurry forward, and you can take your turn to basically position yourself out of range of the collection of them. You're now hidden behind a rock. You can't move so well, but you're hidden. Do you want to snap off a witty one-liner as you get into cover?
Yes, but it's all in Narcal.
Okay, fantastic. So, yeah, one of the snakes you heard you earlier. He's pretty funny.
I feel like the dog's showing off at this point.
Exactly.
I don't think it's witty to like. It's still just thing.
Yeah, I feel like
a skink.
Fantastic. Griff.
I would like to take the aim action.
All right. You spin
on
around.
One of these guys, basically. I would like to aim at one of these guys.
Okay, and you aim carefully, staring down.
One of these dolts.
So
I'm going to say the guy on the left.
Guy on the left. Okay, perfect. And there is this odd silence. No one is shooting yet. Everybody is taking their time to carefully aim. Mac, top of the round now, it's you. You've gotten to cover. You've managed to tackle the Doc to the ground. They're aiming. They're not firing.
So what do I see?
You can see these two blurry shapes on either side. This is basically a perfect ambush kind of setup.
I would care to shoot one of them since they are shooting at us.
Okay,
Is that a measured reaction? I think it is.
You whip yourself up to one knee, and you can take a shot. Now, what is the base range of your rifle?
Heckin' excellent.
That is a technical.
80.
Right, I'm getting that.
80. Okay.
Is that yards? I think that's yards. Or is that feet?
I believe it is yards. So you are it is going to be outside. It's going to be outside of your base range. So you're going to have a penalty die to make that shot, but it is possible.
I'll give it a go. No
you can
harm.
aim otherwise to go your turn to gain a bonus die on the next shot.
Well, no, I'd like to throw them off their rhythm.
All right. Okay. So you're going to crack off a shot at the first one.
I want them to know that we've got guns as well.
Excellent.
There it goes.
Oh, you beauty.
Extreme
Oh, no, penalty
success.
die. Penalty die.
In
Hold on.
theory,
Now that
Or
looks...
is it
it is in fact
Oh,
an
you
extreme
legends.
success?
an extreme success.
Flattened.
Oh,
And that is
dear
how it's done.
Oh.
They've got the perfect setup, and you dive to the side, up to one knee, and crack, hit one of them, dealing a whopping max? Is that max damage? No, that's.
Oh,
just
is it?
No, it doesn't roll damage anymore.
Well, it's an impaling shot, so by default,
excellent.
you
13 plus 2d6.
Yeah.
So 13 plus
25.
12. Okay.
And the 2d6 he rolls was 5 and a 6.
So
1 point of max damage.
You just go, yo, why don't I hit him in the head? Like,
Here's an idea.
terrifying
Kill him.
figure leaps up, raises a gun, and begins tracking across towards Greece, and then keeps tracking, and then no, he's not tracking, he's falling. Tumbles straight off and goes bouncing down the side of the hill. That is the end of your turn. You've taken out one of them without a problem, with a perfect sniper shot. Back across now to Greece.
zigzag, I yell.
No. Shoot me.
You're
Coward.
waving. You're waving at this person, doing your best to get their attention. Jumping back then across to that is going to be the Doc's turn.
Have they had their turn?
Their turn comes after the Doc's.
Okay.
Before Griff's.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if they do not go before me, I would be very surprised.
No, you're all good.
Casual 25 decks that I.
You continue to crouch, hiding. Meanwhile, you suddenly hear a loud crack as a shot is going to be fired towards you, Griff. Now, let's talk about dodging. Would you like to make a dodge test and dive for cover?
Griff or Grace?
Did you mean Grace?
Sorry, I did mean Grace. I'm
Okay.
so sorry.
Yeah, I'll
I will
dodge.
never stop doing that.
Well, I will say for the stream's acknowledgement, I picked my name second, so I.
And you chose
Except
G
for
twice, so
Yeah, and I chose. I love alliteration names.
so I have a feature which means I don't lose my action when diving for cover. Of course, my action was just going to be to antagonize. So
Okay.
if you lose it, that's fine. I will attempt to
continue
dodge.
To antagonize. Okay, so you've come in with a success, which means this is going to be made with disadvantage. So
Yeah.
we'll start off. Now that looks like
Fumble.
a fail,
Fumble.
but it's actually
Fumble.
not quite a fumble, but it could have been an extreme success. So a bullet kind of whizzes right where you would have been, an extreme success that hits right where your head would have been, but you dodge just to the side, and
Whoa.
then would have taken your head off, but you're a little too quick for them. Meanwhile, you see the flash of fire from one side, Griff, and you track it immediately, moving in your gun. Make a firearms rifle check, and of course, it's going to be a straight roll. No advantage, but no disadvantage either.
All right, here we go. There's no guarantee I get this.
I believe
Of
in you.
course.
I feel good about this.
I've hit it. Oh, 7 points of luck you can have indeed. 7 points of luck you can
Okay.
have. Bringing my total luck below 30.
Okay, fantastic. All right.
Ain't no luck like luck below 30, as I say, which is not
Burning away
true.
the luck bit by bit. You crack out a shot. Now, this weapon is incredibly powerful. How much damage does it do?
It does a bunch. It does 3d6.
Hit me. Or rather, hit them. Don't hit me with that.
And that damage is going to be 9.
9?
Which I think might be just under the... Like, normally they have about 10 health. So I feel like he's going to be fine.
The figure, sagged backwards and then, falls, but falls very unconvincingly and kind of falls behind cover, basically, realizing that they've just been shot at pretty effectively.
Does he do a Wilhelm scream?
No scream at all, actually. There's just silence. And
then he goes, "You got me. I'm dead."
Ow! The echoing gunshots fade away for a second. The collection of you can look around. Doc is slowly poking his head up above the edge of the rocks.
For the next about 30 seconds, I am reloading my rifle.
Okay, your friend
full out.
Reload. Now you're very aware that the person over there is still basically just died for cover. They did it unconvincingly. So,
Grace, you want to go get him?
I mean, he ain't hurting anyone. Also, I mean, we know there's a few of these folks that ain't really, their heart ain't in it. This might be one of them, because, I mean, he ain't exactly a hell of a shot.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, Grace. And I would like to walk towards where he dived for cover.
Uh-oh.
It's a bit of a climb to get across to there. You'd have to actually scale across the edges of this mountain. They set up here earlier, but you can get within enough distance that if you fired, you wouldn't have disadvantage, and you can sort of see movement as this person shifts to try and hide their silhouette from you as well. You can yell anything out that you'd like.
In that case, can I pull my gun out, pointed at him?
Yeah.
And yell, "All right, show yourself. We ain't gonna hurt you anymore."
All right. There's silence for a couple of seconds. I'm gonna need an intimidate or a persuade.
Yeah, that's
one or the other.
That's fair, but I would like it stated that's not what I want to do. So,
okay, fair enough. Well, I mean, you're very
I would like to make a... Am I more intimidating or persuasive? I think I'm weirdly persuasive. Hold on, where's my... Sorry, I just need to find it. I've lost my skills. All right, I'm weirdly persuasive. I'm going for persuade.
Okay, perfect.
Right. However, I don't... This is going to be a little bit of a spoiler. I am lying to him.
Oh, okay, fantastic.
So I think it's fast talk.
All right, make a fast talk check.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, no, he does not believe me in the slightest.
All right, you're just sort of...
We ain't gonna shoot ya!
There's silence for a couple of seconds.
Come out, I ain't gonna shoot you! I'm shaking my
I ain't gonna shoot you like you shot those other people.
Hate. That's what it is. It's hate. Mag, you can see these waves rolling off him again for just a split second. Just maybe it was just a trick of the light.
Or lack thereof.
Yes, exactly.
All right. Is any of you guys coming over to join me? Because I sort of walk towards them. Are you guys staying back?
All right. So the voice is silent for about 3 or 4 seconds. Then a voice says, "I'll need some assurances first."
Griff, you want to come on back? You give him some space.
All right, I'm coming back, and I march on the spot.
Make a
fast talk check. No,
check.
I don't think I can.
Make a stealth check. If it's
okay, yeah. Thank you, because I should have thought of that.
Sleight of fate.
That's a good idea.
As a keeper, I'm very incentivized to try and have you cold-bloodedly kill someone for the story's sake. I'm going to make it pretty easy.
Oh, I failed.
Okay. Stop.
And I've used so much luck this session, I cannot burn anymore.
Griff, let's go. Come on.
They're giving up, Griff.
Push it.
Push it. March on spot really aggressively.
You have to. You reckon that you could go a little bit further out on the cliffs, and you could be out of their sight. They wouldn't know if you'd stayed or gone.
Alternatively, sorry, just to clarify, Jim, you said that he can fire a shot off at this range.
Yeah, he's just gonna have to make the guy's still behind cover, so it'll be functionally it'll be disadvantage.
Just asking.
All right, I would like to reach down and pick up a big rock and throw it in the vague direction of where he was.
Okay.
Look. If I was just gonna throw it in anger, but if I could arc it over the thing, like I'm gonna throw it at him.
Sure,
like,
make a throw check.
Look, if there's a chance I could hit him, if I miss him, I'll play it off as not being able to. Like I never meant to hit him. No, I didn't mean to hit him.
Okay, and it slams into the rocks a good deal below the lip of the ridge.
I yell at him, if you poke your head out again, I'm going to shoot it. And I turn around on my heel and do walk back towards the group.
Okay, and the collection of you can continue up. Do you want to head out to the other body, try and track it down to where it fell? It'll be a detour, but you can just, otherwise it's just a straight shoot up.
Mac, do you reckon you killed that other guy?
Yeah. I reckon went straight through his heart.
All right, that's good enough assurance for me. Let's carry on.
Okay, perfect. So you head further up now, moving into the mountains themselves, and this time the moon rises until it is high enough that you can see pretty decently. Everything is lit with this strange silvery glow. And eventually you come up to the lip of a small mountain ridge, and when you pull yourself up to it, you can see spread out before you what looks like an enormous natural crater. Can someone make a natural world check for me? I think Griff, you tend to be pretty good at those.
I do tend to be pretty good at those, but I'm ready to fail anyway.
Did you have something you
on
wanted to
my
say
last
as well?
3 rolls. Sorry, Art, you can go ahead. I did a hard success on that natural world.
Okay, perfect. Sorry, did I cut you off, Art?
No, not cut off. More, I was going to ask that thing I asked you earlier.
Yes, absolutely.
Has it started to,
Yep, I think that so you've been keeping an eye on Griff, and in the grandest example of your bad luck, can I ask you to make me a psychology test?
Yes. This isn't.
So is it Griff or Grease we're worried about?
I'm fine. I
Who
feel
are we
good.
worried about?
I got cocaine. I'm all right.
You have started to notice the strange behavior in Griff as well. This you haven't spotted the same sort of aura of black darkness peeling off him, but you can notice that every fiber in this person's body is taut. You would say that they are definitely a danger to others, possibly a danger to themselves as well, and how violently they will fling themselves in the pursuit of Elijah Smythe.
Okay, I'll store that away for future reference.
Okay, fantastic. So, your natural world was a hard success. You don't know much about science, Griff. You're not a hugely well-educated man, but you have the idea that, the vague knowledge that long ago, the Earth was pelted by giant rocks from outer space. And every now and again, one of the big ones, struck the tops of mountains like these and left these enormous craters. And they are beautiful things. You can see this natural it looks like a hole has just been drilled on the top of a range of mountains. It's beautiful. It's a lot bigger than the lip of a volcano. This thing extends out for quite a while. And there's a long, steep kind of curve heading down into it. Built into the wall of the crater along that curve is a series of ridges that lead down to a large fort, large stone walls with wooden barricades and gates. It's fallen mostly into disrepair, and there are large ruined segments on it, but you can see fire and light and movement coming from within it. The crater continues, and further down the slope, you can see a large lake has gathered around and formed at the base of this crater, impossibly sort of dark and gloomy water that looks black, shimmering off with the moonlight shimmering off it. But you think it's probably just a trick of the light. The collection of you stand and behold this place. The fort is in front of you, and you can't see any guardians. It will be perhaps it would take you probably about 20 minutes to get down to the gates themselves from here, and you'd be scrambling down the sides of this sheer crater wall.
So we're at the edge of the crater now?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, and we're looking down into the into.
You're looking down. You're looking down into the lips of it. You're about here. There's a Spanish fort built into the walls and a large lake.
All right, let's set up a pitting up the top entire rope so that it's easier to climb down the lip of the crater. Yeah. Do you want me to make a roll for that, or
no? I think it's okay. It's not actually too dramatically steep. You can slide down relatively easily with the climbing equipment that you have set up. And within a few moments, the collection of you are on those natural ridges. If you wanted to, you could walk straight across them and head towards the fort itself.
Okay. At this point, I would like to pull out my jar of sap.
Okay, fantastic.
I would like to turn to and I would like to take off a chunk of it and start balling it up into like a gum.
Yep.
And I would like, all right, does anybody want some sap?
For what?
And then I lean over and I open up my ear and I turn my head that way and I plunk it into one side of my ear and push it in.
Excellent. Natural ear.
I said for what?
Hold on, I can still hear in this ear. What was that?
Why are you doing that?
Well, there's been a lot of rumors about it. Elijah Smythe I don't know, he's got a way of talking about him. And quite frankly, I ain't got no reason to listen to him. So, I don't plan to do no listening.
I mean, one of us at least is gonna need to hear what he's saying.
It's up to you. I ain't your pa. I ain't telling you what to do. I'm just telling you what I'm doing, and you're free to do the same.
Well, I'd rather keep my faculties about me if it's all the same to you.
Yeah, again, I'm not telling you what to do. I may be acting a mite paranoid myself, but I do not care for a word that this gentleman has to say.
I'll have some if you got it. I reckon it seems safer than sorry, and Mac, you can always just, give me a symbol to shoot someone or run or whatever.
Well, if we see Elijah Smythe, I'm happy to put him down where he stands.
Yeah, I was wondering that. What's the plan we're going with here?
Oh, the plan is that I will walk in there and I will kill Elijah Smythe. Now,
good.
This is a point in which we may have some contention. Do not kill Elijah Smythe. He's mine. Are we clear on that?
Griff, if it comes down to putting Elijah down or saving some folks, well, I'm afraid I can't wait for you.
Look, Marshal, you was free to do what you was free to do. But if you if you take Elijah Smythe down before I get the chance to, then we're gonna have some real serious trouble here.
Well, I'll be sure to explain that to the women and children he's got holed up in there.
That's fine. Look, I've said my piece. What you do is up to you. And if anyone's got anything else to say to me, you may want to do so now. As I lean over and hold my other ear up and form like a gum ball.
Man, he's your quarry, Griff. If you can get to him quick enough, I reckon he's all yours if you got that little axe there. You'll want to get running.
Oh, yeah, I do.
On the only last thing, they definitely heard those gunshots, so we ain't sneaking in.
I agree.
All right?
And he wants me. He wants me there. He wants to talk to me. And I want to let him talk at me. Talk at me, that is.
I'm gonna get a beat on the fort with my my knockies.
Your knockies?
Yeah, before we get any closer.
All right,
See what kind of activity's going on?
I am also gonna deafen myself after Griff does.
All right, the two of you are suddenly immersed into a world of quiet and darkness. Well, at least it is for a couple of seconds before you start to hear the overwhelming sound of your own breath and your own heart and a ringing and the dull rushing of blood. And it's deafening, but it is all you can hear.
It probably draws attention to the tinnitus we all got from that dynamite blow.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Ringing, repeat it.
It's just turned that up.
Don't sleep with earplugs. Doc, what about you? You going to be deafening yourself?
Again, there is a strong chance I am being paranoid here.
And what if they offer you horrible secrets that you should say no to? How will you say yes?
Directed to me.
Yeah.
That's absolutely what Doc is thinking about right now. I'm not even joking. He's like, there's a chance these people know something. There's also a chance they're just full of shit. I think Doc does. I think he is going to deafen himself, and unlike the others, is very used to the sound of heartbeats and breathing and various things. I don't think that bothers him in the slightest.
Yeah.
But whether he stays deafened, we'll find out.
Absolutely. So suddenly the collection of you sort of gathered around looking towards each other, and you hear this white noise. Nothing. Silence. It's breath. Peace. You are starting to hear more and more, Mac. You know, you can see the others moving around. You can hear the scuffling of boots, the cocking of weapons. As you're trying to get your binoculars, your hearing is firing in all cylinders. Make a spot hidden check for me. I want to see what you can tell about the setup over there.
I will be most pleased to. Here it comes. Well, heck.
Oof, that's a lot of luck.
I'd quite like to save that for the battle.
Okay. You're glancing around, but you do not have a good angle. You do spot one figure, and they are hunched over, and they are shuffling as they move forward.
Going in which direction? Away or toward the
They are at the ridges of one of the inside, sorry, I should have described that. They're behind the walls of the fort, wandering about within the actual perimeter of the
Gotcha.
We're above them, right? So what we can see right down in.
You still have a little bit of an overview. Yeah, you have scaled down, but the ridge you're on is actually slopes down before arriving at the gates.
Now hold on a second. Did you promise me a bonus die with my binoculars earlier?
Nuggies.
I did.
Nuggies.
Well, no, actually, no. It's the middle of the night, though. So I will.
But the moon's real high up.
They are lit. They have fires. Take your bonus die.
Oh, you're too kind, most magnanimous GM. We'll call it a hard success.
Nice.
God.
What have you done, you fool?
Okay. Hard success.
Yeah. What are you gonna do about it?
I'm just thinking exactly how much I want to tell you.
All of
bad
it. Just
stuff, I hope.
go. Just
Start from the beginning.
beat them.
Yeah, all right. There are about a dozen people moving around at different parts of the fort. They are sort of strolling through, moving between the walls and between the buildings. And they are all holding weapons, kind of cradling them close to their bodies and hunched over. And as you start to look over them, something occurs to you. And you, with a hard success, think, there's too many. Some of those, and then you pick the style of the clothing, the dust of travel. Some of those are people from Shade. Some of them look like they must be the Navajo from the village. They're holding weapons, and they're not restrained, and they're patrolling the walls.
I just lost audio for a second. Did anyone else get that?
Oh, did you not get it?
That's
The terrible secret. The people patrolling the walls are presumably the Navajo and people from Shade, and they're holding guns, and they're not restrained.
Can everyone else hear Jamie okay? Because I
This is a reverse. This is amazing.
All right, Mac deafens himself. I can hear. Let's get going.
Someone's got to send me a message because I can't tell if this is part of the game because we're talking about hearing stuff.
Can you
but,
not hear us? Can you hear us?
All right.
Jamie?
I think that we've
Okay, you guys
entirely
can hear
lost
me.
Jackson.
I can.
I think that, I'll tell you
Let's
what.
let Jim.
We don't
Let's
have
take
to-
5.
Yeah, let's take
Yeah,
5.
just to
We'll be
figure this
back as
out.
soon as we solve this, everybody. Thank you very much.
No.
And I was saying
Yes.
that the walls are covered with people that look like they're from the Navajo village or that they're from the town of Shade. And they're hunched over and they are carrying these weapons and they appear to be patrolling the walls. You
Yes.
thought the second half was scary. This third half, oh, it's going to be great. Just wait for it.
Right, and that's where we're at. Wait,
Yep.
so the Navajo are carrying weapons and
Well,
being forced to patrol the walls is the impression
from
I
what
get.
you can see, it looks like the prisoners that have been taken by this group appear to be patrolling the walls. They are not bound, they are free to move, and they have weaponry. Or at least they have a great deal more agency than you would expect from prisoners.
And weapons, yeah.
Yeah, that tends to be a dead giveaway, huh?
Yeah, and they're hunched over.
It's not a great sign. They look a little off. Shuffling.
No chance of a psychology check from this distance.
From this distance, no, but if you get a little bit closer, you might be able to make one. They also do not seem to be, they could be patrolling better. If you were leading this militia, you'd rustle them into shape.
Absolutely. All right, I will report my findings to the posse.
Okay,
What?
They say nothing. They turn towards you, and you realize you have no way to communicate with them. Meanwhile, the collection of you.
What about Doc? Is Doc still with us or with me?
Doc has put has plugged their ears as well.
Oh, Doc has as well.
We should have waited.
Oh my goodness.
We definitely should have.
No, you shouldn't have. It's going to work out much better this way.
I mean, if Mac motions,
Is it easy to? Yeah.
Doc will.
I got it right in there.
I think I'll tell you what. For the sake of dramatic interest, I think that we're going to say once you get them out, you can't put them back in easily. So
It's sap. It's like scraping crap out.
It's not particularly easy to toss
Yeah,
around.
and it's hardened in there now.
And Mac had quite a low sonorous voice to begin with. So
Yeah, exactly.
It's just not much hope.
Not really, unfortunately.
I turn to back and I say, "Are we good to go?"
How many did I see? About a dozen?
About a dozen people patrolling the walls. That's right.
All right, let's kill him.
And Grease spins around and starts scrolling along. Matt, you can see. I mean, look. I mean,
Bracelets, wristwatch.
Could I?
Wrong.
We could get
care
the
what
vibe.
they
We know they have hostages. I think that's understandable,
okay, I'll
right?
tell you what. After a lot of clowning around, the collection of you managed to communicate. Yeah, there are people on the walls, and they appear to be the hostages. So you don't know the full details, but you know that the hostages are on the walls, and the collection of you now are free to approach the fort. So you can basically head straight in, or you can, right to the door. You can try and do some complicated climbing, maybe ascend back to the lip and rappel down into the fort, or you can just make your way straight towards the doors.
All right, I turn to the others and I go, "Y'all are free to do what you want. I'm going in through the front door." I point towards the front door.
Okay, fantastic.
They can't hear you either. It's
You
sort
should
of
go in the front door.
What?
This is brilliant.
We
very
are not
happy.
doing this.
Okay. You continue forward and you start to head towards the gates of this fort itself. This place is old. The archaeologists and historians amongst you, none of you are, immediately start to sort of like notice that this place is pristine. It's a treasure. I mean, it's been decayed over the years, but it's still fascinating that it has lasted so long. And as you start to walk closer and closer, you can see a couple of figures head towards the edge of the walls, and they begin to look down and stare towards you. They've got guns in their hand. Are any of you going to shoot?
Are the doors open or closed?
The gates are open. There's some faint wooden doors, and they're just straight open. You can walk directly in.
You said they've spotted us,
They've spotted you. They're leaning down. They're watching you with guns.
but they're not doing anything.
No, not yet.
I'll unsling my rifle and keep it at my side.
They also get their weapons and have them at their sides.
I sling my rifle back onto my shoulder.
They don't do as much as sort of slinging their rifle back, but they stay and don't really react. Which of you continue now, stepping inside?
I'll call out to them if they're the hostages, as best I can tell.
Okay. You what do you yell?
Not yell so much as I'll flash my marshal's badge and just kind of gently call out, "We're going to get you out of this mess."
All right. None of them really react. They continue to stare and they continue to watch.
That's what I was afraid of.
And you all step inside the fort now. You break into the wall that surrounds the immediate perimeter, and you can see built into the stone, so the rooms are actually carved into the mountain rock, is the buildings themselves. There's a staircase that heads down along the ridge, and it appears to head towards the lake at the very bottom of the crater, a protected passageway that essentially people from the fort could use to get down there. When you emerge into the courtyard, you can see that there are more people now, and they're standing around. Some of them are holding guns, others are holding, knives or wicked short axes. Some are just holding rocks, and some kind of just loom big before you, looking violent, but none of them make any particular action apart from to slowly walk towards you menacingly. And we'll jump back to you in a second, Mac, but the three of you, Griff, what are you doing?
All right, I would like to, at my loudest possible voice, I would like to yell, "My name is Griffith Gutherson, and I am looking for Elijah Smythe. Smythe, come out here and show yourself. Come out here." And
All
that's
right.
what I yell.
So, for the three of you, there is no answer. And you continue to look around. And there is no sound. And the people keep getting close to you. They're close enough that you could reach out and touch them if you wanted to. Mac, you hear a voice, sort of soft, a woman's voice speak. And the voice says, "I'm glad you've come this way." And you turn around, and one of the drifting figures is just sort of slumped down, but has tilted up its head a little bit and is speaking with a vacant look in its eyes, as if someone is speaking directly through her. And she says, "I thought you would be taller, but I can see the hate in you, and it is exactly what I wanted."
I would tap Griff on the shoulder and point towards the woman who's speaking.
All right, Griff, you hear a tap, and you can see this woman, her lips are moving, but she does not appear to be saying anything.
I would like to stare directly at the woman, and I will try with zero expertise to try to lip read her.
Sure.
Can I roll a D100, and if I get a 1, can I succeed?
Or like an extreme psychology or something.
Make a psychology.
I'm pretty sure lip reading is a skill in Pulp Cthulhu.
It is a skill.
You know what? I'll take an extreme psychology check.
Yeah, go with the psychology.
Vibe of what they're saying rather than
go with the psychology.
Word for word. And I am not very good at this. So
okay, read lips. Base score is 1. So
oof.
Yeah.
So Daniel was bang on.
All right. Well, I'm gonna roll psychology, and we'll just go with it needs to be a 1. Not even close.
Well, you had a 1 in 100 chance. It's not particularly great.
But I am staring at her while she talks.
You've come so far, and yet not quite. There's still more that needs to be done. There's still more. There is no. You give no reaction, and the woman turns, and in her hand she holds out a small knife, and starts kind of pointing it between the collection of you.
I say, I like, again, with zero context of what's happening, I turn to her and I say, "Where is Smythe?
Okay.
Tell me where Smythe is."
Grease and Doc, what are the two of you doing? You can see that there's some kind of conversation going on here. You can see that this woman is now pointing a knife back and forth between the collection of you.
I'm confident if she tries to stab someone with that knife, I can shoot her before she finishes the action.
Okay.
So I'm gonna, if she does it.
All right. So you don't need to have your weapon drawn because you're a quick draw, but you've got the muscles in your arm are tense and ready to go. Doc, what about you?
There's someone talking, and it isn't Smythe. At least, it's not a man. Is Doc behind everyone else?
No,
Or-
you are in the group. Oh wait, actually, so what would you have liked to have stayed behind? Did you want to hang back a little bit from people?
I mean, Doc generally does hang back a little, like, doesn't tend to get straight into, like...
All right. This will have relevance. So,
Okay.
I'm just amazed by the Aurora Borealis firing. Right?
I just realized my light died when I restarted my computer, so I
Oh
just
dear.
brought it back.
So,
What? Yeah, what?
did you hang backwards?
No, I would have stayed with the group, but I just mean I am likely to not. Like, I'm usually at the back of the group.
Okay. Are you more than 3 meters away?
I'm like, how far is 3
I mean,
meters?
we're basically we're being encircled by people. Are you with
Yeah,
us
so
or
basically,
staying
if
back?
you're-
Because you're going to get encircled if you go
If
elsewhere.
you're
I think you'll
separate,
probably
you're
stay
gonna
with
get cut
us.
off by people.
Yeah.
Are you
Right. I think if people are walking towards us, I will stick.
Yeah.
Okay, so you stay close enough that you're still in the circle band here. Okay, good to know.
It was more whether or not people are looking at me. Is what I'm scared about.
You're all being watched, but it's with this same kind of glazed detachment. No one is being directly or comprehensively observed.
Do I hear anything in the silence of my own mind?
Are you listening out for anything in particular?
What a question.
Your
I
conscience, or is that taking a lead of absence?
I think because Doc doesn't know what's going on, and it is quiet,
Yeah?
and like there's some paying attention to what's happening, but Doc doesn't have a gun. He's kind of not, well, he does, but it's not useful.
Yeah.
He's sort of not really helpful until someone gets hurt. So I think he's sort of, at this point, kind of absent-mindedly going, brain.
You're keeping an eye out, a third eye out, so to speak. All right, make a power check for me, just to go with. Meanwhile, this woman continues to push the knife across, and she says, "No, you are not quite ready at all." And she reverses the knife, and she holds it high. Which of you two are closer to her? And this is kind of like, are you both stepping away, or are you like readying yourselves? She's not.
I was
moving quickly.
talking to her and actively engaging with her. I think I'm the closest one to her, and
All right.
maybe Mac, but I think it's me.
When-
And if she pulls pulls the knife out so it's facing forward like that,
Yeah.
I'm gonna swing the axe from around my back up and like hold it in front of me to, in essence, like defend myself from her.
Okay. You take you take the axe up and you raise it in front of you, and you sort of are ready, and she steps forward and just an axe flying over to the side, and it's almost stumbling. It's such a dull, uninterested movement moves to just ram it into your chest. Like, doesn't need to be hard.
I shoot her.
Yep.
Rude.
The gun pops out. Make a firearms pistol check, and you're at point blank range. You can have advantage.
I assumed something much scarier was going to happen.
I meant to
Being
ask.
stabbed? I think
you
being stabbed's
stabbed
pretty
me.
scary.
I
No,
thought
'cause
she
if
was
it's one of
stabbing
the-
herself.
If it's one of the hostages or Navajo, I assumed she was going to stab herself, because that would have made you much more fucked up in the head.
Ooh.
That's just what I was going to ask. Do we get the sense whether she's a hostage or a bandit?
She looks like a townsperson from Shade.
Yikes.
Yeah.
She's missing 8 health.
All right. You whip out the gun and you fire. The bullet slams into her chest, and she kind of staggers backwards a couple of steps. All of you kind of ready yourselves, and unless you are doing anything else, she's going to keep coming at you.
Just want to point out, Grease only got that by a hair, even with the bonus die.
Ooh.
Was there
it
some
was a little-
hesitation
it was
in
a
pulling
little
that trigger?
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of hesitation there, Green.
I ain't used to shooting with earmuffs on. Couldn't hear the trigger. You know, I don't want to hear the click. It's weird.
So the gun is up. It is pointed directly at her. You can just fire again. I won't even make you roll. Did you kill her?
Yeah.
Okay. Bang. She collapses to the ground, and her eyes glaze over. Second later, there's another one coming from the side. Not quite ready. And if you are basically this is a very quickly, Griff. If you are capping people, this is going to be 1, 2, and you are just shooting people.
As they start coming forward, I'm going to yell to Mac and then see what he's doing.
All right. I want y'all to stop. This is what they want. That's all. I don't know how to even.
Yeah, but if they try and stab me, I'm going to shoot them. If they try and stab anyone, I'm going to shoot them.
I just want to try to run, just like barrel.
If he starts running, I'll run after him.
Run through.
To quote Meatloaf, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was literally about to be like, all right, just yell "run" at the top of my voice and push. I want to push with my axe and push him out of the way and make a hole for people to get through, and then see if we can outrun these guys.
Falling behind the large man.
All right. I want you to make a strength check, Griff, as you just shoulder charge it because there's a small portion of the group and try to burst out this hole.
You know how you have a pulp skill, Jackson? Well,
I do know that.
I have a pulp talent as well. Whenever I make strength checks, I do so with a bonus die. With a bonus die, with a bonus die. Making a check with a bonus die. I don't know why it's not doing that. Sorry.
That was adorable.
Wait, tune.
I would like to hit that every single time we roll a bonus die, please.
My bonus die is an 8.
Just a regular success.
Which just sets me at a regular success.
Okay, that's enough. You bust through a hole and the collection of you start running, and suddenly you're tearing around and you're looking in various directions, and this crowd of people are one by one starting to move faster and faster. This has suddenly turned into a weird kind of zombie nightmare. They're moving after you, and you can shoot them, you can kill them. They're not fast, they're not particularly strong. Hell, you could kill them with your bare hands, but you don't want to. And occasionally one of them will burst out with these peals of hideous laughter and continue to yell, come find me, Griff. I know you have hate and I can put it to good use.
Can we get a quick description of the place? And
also,
I'd like to see if there's anywhere, if there's a guard tower that's right at the top that is this is where he's gonna be.
Also, what happened to? Because I think Art succeeded at a power check, which I need to know the disastrous consequences of for my own sanity.
All right, so we'll jump back to the power check in a second. Let me just give you a description of the place very quickly, so that you can physically set where you are. There is a walled courtyard blocking off a small 2-level stone and wood fort that carves back into the rock itself. To one side is a pathway that leads out the side of the fort down into a small passage that leads down to the lake at the base of the fort. There's several rooms that you could dart towards. There don't appear to be any horses here. You haven't been inside the fort itself, but you assume that there'll be just a collection of standard rooms, probably a mess hall, an armory, some barracks rooms, stuff like that. The courtyard itself is pretty open, and that's where the collection of you are now, kind of dancing. If you're looking for directions to go, it's going to be into the fort itself and darting through the rooms there, down towards the lake, or back out the way you came.
Yeah, okay, so lake or fort. Being unable to communicate with each other, I'm going to lock in where I'm going now.
All right, why don't we just have everybody write down where they intend to... Yeah, you can see each other, actually. It's not like you'd get...
Oh, yeah, but okay, well, then in that case, I am going to tear off down to the lake, I think.
I was always inclined to follow Griff.
I follow Mac wherever Mac goes.
Okay.
So it's a chat.
And the doc goes and does something.
Heading down.
Fails a power check or succeeds a power check. I don't know what's worse.
Okay. So the three people now sprinting down towards the lake. You succeeded a power check. You are feeling, you're sort of letting your mind wander. You've been exposed to the mythos enough that you have, some kind of awareness, the attunement that lies around with it. I think that you have started to feel, I mentioned that you'd felt before something wrong with Griff. That wrongness is now emanating out. That sense of hatred, that sense of that heat in this place, it's growing. And when the voice says you're not quite ready yet, no, almost, you can see something coming over, Griff. You have enough knowledge of the mythos now to know what the beginnings of a ritual look like. And something here is playing into the hands of some kind of intelligence. But you're running down to the lake, unless you want to stay up here by yourself.
I don't mind if it means I'm a little delayed. I would like to prepare something.
Okay. So how complex is what you're preparing? Because if you're just pulling it out of your bag, it's fine.
It's out of my bag. It involves a step, probably.
Okay.
But it is not it's something I'm trained to do and have done before, and I'm more than happy to whisper it to you if you would like to know what exactly it is.
Why don't you whisper it to me so I can build up some suspense around its unleashment? But for now, that's totally fine. You are fumbling with your bag, and the collection of you are tearing forward as quickly as you can, running down this passageway and heading deeper into the lake. The crowd of figures are behind you, and they're reaching out and they're clawing at you, but you smash through them, Griff, and you are managing to keep them just at bay as you sprint down, staggering. The pathway growing smaller and smaller around you, and the large lake, the glooming darkness, almost black in the moonlight, is getting bigger and bigger. Behind you, the voices continue to yell, one by one by one, and the cries are, "What does it take to bring a man who has sworn to sleep, who has sworn to peace, and set him on a holy crusade? It takes so much rage, the kind of rage that moves mountains, the kind of rage that could wake the dead." And you continue running down and come out to the lake itself, and you can see now, standing amongst the stones of the lake, in a sort of old, torn, faded pair of breeches and no shirt, is a lone man. Griff, do you want to describe what you think Elijah looks like? It can be as bizarre as you would like.
I think what's most bizarre about Elijah Smythe is how ordinary he looks. He's just got like he looks just like a Lego man, sort of generic haircut, and he wears spectacles not unlike the Doc wears, like just simple things. And he is to describe him is like, you would just be like, he's normal. Like, he just looks normal. He is a normal height. He is a normal weight. He has brown hair and brown eyes. He has no beard and is clean shaven and is just completely ordinary.
All right, perfect. This ordinary man stands before you. He's soaking wet, like below the knees. He's standing in the shallows at the edge of the lake. And as you come round and spot him, you realize that the crowd of people behind you have fallen back. They're gone. And the last thing that you hear is him yelling. Well, this is Mac. You're hearing all of this. I must stress again. You know, they're not shouting to anybody but you. And the voice cries, "Enough rage to wake the sleeper." And he collapses to his knees and begins to chant, "Ya, ya, Cthulhu Fatagan," screaming out. And you can see the darkness in the water begin to slowly bubble. And we'll go to dexterity order. Mac, you are first to act.
Okay.
He's making no kind of attempt to resist. He's on his knees. He's staring with ecstatic, fanatic glee.
All right.
At Griff.
He is up to some nonsense, and I will make my promise good to shoot him in the head.
All right. Okay. Griff begins to tear forward because I assume that's exactly what you're doing. Now, Grease, were you also about to shoot him or do something like that?
No, he just seems to be kneeling in the water.
Okay, so you're standing still, kind of frantically looking. Griff, you begin to run forward, and Mac, you bring up the weapon and aim it. Now, Doc, I want to know what you're doing as well. So, Mac's going to shoot. Is anyone diving on Mac's gun or trying to stop that from happening? You might be muted, I'm afraid. Oh, no, you're good.
No, I didn't say anything. I know that 2 other people are deafened. I am going to, if I have time, I'm going to pull out one of my earplugs. If I don't, I'm just going to yell at Mac.
Yep.
Shoot Griff in the leg.
Oh.
All right. So a yell is
Wing
enough.
him, essentially, like bring him down.
Griff, what is your intention here? What are you trying to do? We're RuneQuest style. Everyone give a statement of intention.
I am trying to charge Elijah Smythe and
hit him with your
dismember him with my axe.
Okay, that is perfect.
Statement of intent.
And as you run forward, Mac, you raise your rifle, and you can see, the water is shimmering. You've heard all of this, and you hear a yell: "Shoot Griff in the leg." Your gun is aimed straight at Elijah's head. What would you like to do?
I hear Doc's warning, and I think I put 2 and 2 together based on what the hostages were saying, and I realized Griff is playing straight into his hand, so I would like to shoot Griff in the leg.
Okay, you turn your gun away from Smythe and you aim towards Griff, and I want you to make a firearms check, and it is going to have to be a hard check to basically...
and not.
If I haven't taken my turn and I see Mac turn his gun on Griff, can I come to the conclusion that Mac has been turned?
I think that is entirely
and I am going to tackle him to the ground.
Okay, you swing around with your gun and spin it towards Mac, and a second later you're hitting the side. So I guess here's what I'm going to ask. I want you're tackling him, is going to be a fighting brawl check. If you'd like to shoot him in the head, it'll be a pistols check, though.
I think we're not there yet. That's double check.
A fighting brawl check.
We're not at that stage in our relationship.
No, we're not that close.
As you tackle, and I want a...
Oh, you can have 5 points of luck.
Okay.
Before he rolls, because then now I know.
Oi, none of that.
So technically the order of how this should have gone, Dex order, would have been Mac first, then Grease, then Don, then Griff. So since
Mac and I have the exact same decks.
Is that true?
I thought Mac had slightly higher.
Nope, we've always been the same. 85.
Oh, okay, there you go.
We're the exact same.
But you are usually faster on the draw, right?
Yep. Because I have quick draw.
But this isn't a draw scenario.
So what I'm wondering how to do this now. What I was going to say is that I was going to have your fighting brawl essentially apply disadvantage to this check.
Yeah, I think that tracks.
Should we roll dexterity and?
I think.
Or just a penalty die, and it's just me up in your shit. I'm not a particularly good fighter.
We'll do a penalty die. So you have a penalty die, and to be clear, you're going to need a hard success to effectively stop Griff from running, because he can just power through the pain.
And I presume.
In other words, Grease has just made it more likely for me to kill Griff rather than win.
Yeah, genuinely. I mean, that's the thing. Like,
it's how Griff wanted to go. That's fine.
But he doesn't know that. He thinks you're trying to kill me. He thinks Smythe's turned you.
All right, I'm gonna shoot him. I'm gonna shoot him in the leg.
All right, make it with a penalty dice.
With a penalty die. Well, that's not bad.
All right.
Not a hard success though.
No, but it's...
For 7 points of luck, as long as I don't roll worse.
Damn it.
You did.
Ooh, okay.
I roll better. You can have 7 points of luck to shoot Griff in the leg.
Okay.
Bang.
All right. So roll your damage first of all.
I sure can.
All right. Griff, everything is silent. Just nothing except the sound of, breathing, your heart. So you're running forward. This is everything that you've been waiting for. And then a burning fire just rockets through your knee, and your foot just goes out from under you, and you land on your hands and knees, the axe still in your hand. You try to get back up, but one of your legs has gone game, and you spin back, and you can see your friends brawling on the ground. Doc, what are you doing during this time?
Griff has been hurt. I should probably go and deal with that.
Okay, so
Oh,
you
no.
begin to sprint forward and head towards Griff. You arrive right next to Griff and start fiddling with your doctor's bag. Meanwhile, Griff, what are you doing? You see your two friends are like scrapping on the ground. The doc is running towards you with a bag. You can start crawling across the ground.
Do I know where this shot came from?
You couldn't hear it.
I just see a
felt it.
scuffle from over there.
Yeah, you can see Griff and you can see that
Grace.
you can see that Grace and Mac are fighting. That's it.
Okay, but that's it. All right. I don't really know what happened there.
Yeah.
But I know what I have to do, which is I have to limp or crawl or get to Elijah Smythe as best I can. So I would like to continue to move towards Elijah Smythe at the fastest possible speed.
Okay, Doc, you can't treat someone who is trying to crawl away from you. Just logistically, it doesn't work. Are you trying to stop Griff from crawling?
I'm going to like do my best to do the doctorly hand on shoulder, like hold a second. I need to treat this. And if that doesn't work, then I may apply force before doing what I'm going to do.
Okay, does a doctorly hand on your shoulder, Griff, stop you from wanting to go forward?
The doc puts a hand on my shoulder, and at first it's gentle and caring in the way that the doctor's bedside manner used to be. But as I turn around, I look at the doc, and do I see any trace of the doctor who began this campaign, the doctor who cared for their patients, and that's still there, is it?
Oh, absolutely. This is entirely being done because I care about you.
Okay. I will hesitate then.
All right. So we're just going to leave that turn there. You make a hesitation, and it holds you for just a second. Meanwhile, Mac, you're on the ground, and you can hear the chanting to continue. This howling noise, and the water is beginning to fizz and bubble. The heat is now unbearable. It's coming directly off the water, which looks like it's boiling. You can hear the pitch of the chant rising, presumably because the man kneeling in the water is scalding alive as he begins to cast this spell. Grease is on top of you, holding you down.
Have I got one free hand?
Free, you have it free, but Grease will grab it again in a second, potentially.
Well,
I am very weak.
I mean, the first thing I can think of to convince him that I'm still me is I'd like to go for my inner pocket and pull out a deputy's badge.
Oh, I love it. I mean, it's so great. Make for me just intelligence test really quick. Because as cute as this moment is, I think it is entirely possible that you see Grease land on you and go, "Oh no, Grease is being possessed." And
he shot a friend. He can see the fucking logic.
I think he can. In fact, you know what? It makes sense. You were doing something pretty provocateur-ish. You can fumble down into your pocket. Why don't you take over the narration from here and describe how you hand over this long-awaited badge?
Oh, well, I imagine I have to do it quick because he thinks I'm gonna go for
I think you're going for a
secret
gun.
hidden pistol or something. So I pull it out and it comes out kind of flat palmed, and I push it into his chest and I just hold it there and wait for him to look down.
Okay, Grease, you take over. What do you see? What are you doing? What are you thinking?
Oh man. I reckon as he goes for something, I'm very quick with my hands. I'm not strong, so I figure whatever he's going for, so I grab it and I wrench it out of the way. But I feel what it is in my hand after a moment. And as I open it and see the deputy star, Max easily able to shove me aside. I look at it and I look to him, and I can see the truth in his eyes. And I also know what this means to him and the severity and the circumstances he's been in previously with it. And I will now follow whatever direction Mac takes. My pistol's still holstered. I'm now looking at Griff. And if he tries something, I'll probably shoot him.
Okay, fantastic. You hand it over, and you know for a second you're terrified that you see in Grease's expression the same kind of dedication and love, dare I say, that your previous deputy have, and it almost scares you. But then it changes because Grease is his own person, and he has his own wonderful aspects and wonderful flaws, and it is someone different.
I'll take it a step further, and I'll remove the bandana that I've been wearing, which we gained from a while ago, so that I can pin the badge under where it lies, so it now sits on my lapel in a similar style to the Marshals.
Oh, perfect. I love it. Amazing. Doc, there's been hesitation. There hasn't been acceptance yet. I think, can you give to Griff your best, what do you do? You can't say anything because his ears are blocked. Is there a gesture you can make, or is it just push him down, reach for the leg, try and do your best to treat it?
I'm quicker than Grease.
Yeah.
A lot quicker than Grease, and I have done this a lot of times. So I think, especially if he's like trying to crawl and is paused, it's just straight in the neck muscle and shoulder, just straight down.
Not moments ago, when they were making this point, Art sent me a message about the preparation of a needle full of sedatives.
And narcotics.
The doc has used several times. And you allow yourself to trust for a split second, Griff, and suddenly Doc is moving towards you with a needle in his hand. I want you to make a hard medicine check, we'll go with, to try and apply this. Griff, you can dodge or you can riposte with your axe. Or you can allow it to happen, of course.
My axe is not for friends. I would like to make a dodge check.
Okay, make a dodge check.
Can you push rolls?
I don't believe push, but you can definitely lock it.
You can't push combat rolls. This is effectively a combat roll. So I don't think you can push this.
Well, I am absolutely locking it down to a success minimum.
Okay. Well, Griff, are you going to do the same? 3 points of luck?
About to get into a bidding war.
This is the question.
3 points of luck over here. 3 points
It
of luck.
is
Amy,
very
4 points of
much
luck?
player versus character. This is the most player versus character decision.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's tough because, luck is it's somewhere between player resource and character resource. So I'll tell you what, judging by...
Okay, can I make a call?
You have an idea, you go ahead.
I think I'm not gonna dodge it, but I think Griff is a pretty big constitute guy, and as soon as that digs into his skin and injects, he's gonna push the dock away and charge and try to charge the Smythe.
Okay, all right, certainly. So you don't dodge, and you do luck, and you feel the needle jam in and release. Is there betrayal in your eyes? What do you say, or what does your face say?
There is definitely betrayal written all over my face. Every person who I trusted to come up this mountain with me has betrayed me in the end. The marshal has shot at me. Grease is now let go of him and is now wearing a badge that resembles the marshal's. The doc, who for a split second I trusted, has jammed me full of some vile narcotic that I absolutely cannot stand. And I can't trust any of them, but I can trust my axe and my strength of soul as I push towards the Smythe.
All right.
If it makes you feel worse, there is literally only compassion in Doc's face right now.
Yeah, there's no guilt, is there?
Well, it's not even like there's no guilt, but it's also like he genuinely cares.
Yeah.
Now,
And obviously no guilt.
to be clear, I did ask for a hard medicine check, Doc. So this is.
Oh,
quite-
sorry. Yes.
So that's a fuck ton of luck.
Yes, just to be clear, before we go too far.
Or I guess
Yeah.
it's like it gets in, but how much?
Yeah,
Go
not enough
juice.
gets in there.
Will a hard knock him out?
No, it will not guarantee it. An extreme would guarantee a knockout. But a hard, he'll still have a chance to do something. What more to the point, a success, because medicine is not, strictly speaking, this would have been a fighting brawl. So this is a imprecise skill use here. So it will be a hard check. A success will do little more than it'll disorientate his ability. So he'll still be up, but he'll be kind of.
I might have disadvantages
boggled.
on rolls and
Yes.
such. Sorry, a
It's
penalty
tough.
dice on rolls.
All right. So
So a success will do something, but it won't knock me out.
No, it won't.
but a hard success has a higher chance of knocking him out.
A hard success will mean that he will have to make a constitution check. An extreme constitution check will throw off the shackles entirely, and he will charge forward. A hard constitution check will allow him to, get forward and probably have enough time to kill Smythe. A regular success will get him close and possibly, sadly, collapse in front of Smythe, like on his knees, reaching out. And we'll see what happens from there. It might still work.
I have 73 points of luck.
Oh my god.
That's a
It
lot
will
of
take
luck.
me down to 21 to attempt to save
To get it to
Griff.
hard. Woof.
Oof.
It's in your hands.
And to be
No,
clear,
no.
the hard is still a roll, right? There's still a con
Yeah,
roll.
the hard is still. It is.
Hard
It
is-
just
it's
gives.
still
It just
roll.
gives a chance.
Again, this is hard because it's like player versus
Yeah,
character.
I know.
I know. The use of luck is always tough.
Let's tell the story.
I'll tell you what. Which side did you go with, Griff? Did you pick player or character?
I picked player, I guess.
Why don't
because-
you go with player too then?
Because I didn't want Gutherson to dodge.
Fair enough.
As a player, I don't think I want Gutherson to kill her.
I mean, as a player,
Yeah.
I'm fascinated to see what happens when this ritual takes place, but like, at the same
I
time,
wouldn't be. As a
That's
in
the
that
coordinate.
case, you know what? If it,
Call of Cthulhu ritual. Rituals almost always end worlds.
73 is a lot, and it's not even a guarantee.
Yeah.
yeah,
it is.
it's technically 52. It takes me down to underluckable if I end up on death's door as well.
Yeah.
I wanted that to work really badly. I'm pissed off I can't push because I would absolutely be willing to ruin someone to get this roll.
Specifically, Griff.
Oh
Oh,
dear.
literally, like, I think I've said this. If y'all are medicine under Doc now, be warned. No guilt means he doesn't really use luck anymore. He's just skill.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
No,
right.
no.
No, I think for this one, whether it's a failure because his constitution is too high or it's a failure because it doesn't work. I mean, I kind of like the idea the Doc put enough stuff in here to tranquilize a horse.
Yep.
Where it's just like, yep.
Yep.
I'm kind of alright with that. So I will hold off on spending any luck on this and allow it to be a mutual failure because that is what the story wants.
Excellent.
Okay.
You spin forward, you feel the needle in your neck, and you are, before you know what's happening, you're up. You're on your feet. Griff, it is your turn. You have been slowed, you have been stopped, and you are moving forward and you are sprinting towards Elijah Smith as best you can on all fours.
Yeah.
Dragging,
I think I'm using the axe itself as a walking stick or something to limp towards Smythe. But I've got a one-track mind. I am trying to kill Smythe.
You get towards Smythe at the end of your turn. And the worst bit, as well as dragging yourself across these rocks, is that when you get to the edge of the water and you put your hand in it, it is hot. It's not boiling, it's not killing you, but it is scalding and it hurts and you're dragging yourself through. And you're pulling yourself up and it's getting hotter by the second. And suddenly you're in front of Smythe, who looks like he's been cooking alive in this thing. And the two of you are both exhausted old men on your knees, kind of grasped a hold of each other as you kind of collapse forward and you're raising this axe. And we're going to go back to the top. And if Mac, you would, Griff.
I was just going to say, just because it might become very relevant in the next 2 turns, I probably took damage. Oh, sorry, the next round. I probably took damage from getting shot in the leg.
You did. You took 8 damage.
I took 8 damage. Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. I will acknowledge that.
Good to know, Dan.
Probably can't feel it now.
Yeah,
that's good.
So let's call it 0 damage.
Yeah, let's
not.
You're being held there. You're both kind of like grabbing a hold of each other, and you can see in Reverend Smythe's eye fanaticism. The kind of fanaticism that drives somebody from across the world, from being one of the Mormon angels of death to, a crazed cultist eventually for a dark and eldritch god. And now you are face to face with him. And Mac, do you want to shoot Griff?
You are muted. Okay, you're good.
I'm on it. I don't know if it's going to stop him. How close is he? He's like right.
They're
face
right
to
next
face.
to each other. They're like literally right next to each other. You could shoot the Reverend if you'd like.
What's the distance?
You're pretty close. You could also be like, I'm just going to sprint forward and try and tackle.
That's what I'm
Griff,
thinking.
but it would be at the very edges of your capability.
That's what I'm leaning towards. I don't want to risk shooting him again and killing him, and I sure don't want to shoot Elijah anymore because that's what he wants.
All right, so you toss your weapon to the side and you sprint at full speed, crossing a massive amount of ground and desperately trying to get towards him. You can make for me a fighting brawl test, and you're going to be down a tier, so you're going to need a hard success or an extreme to overcome a regular dodge or parry.
Alrighty. I think this is the first time I rolled brawl in the entire campaign, and spoiler, I'm not bad at it. Here it comes.
Hard success. Okay, fantastic. So you're diving forward. You can see Mac running in. You're reaching out. You're holding onto Smythe. He's in your hand, and Mac's going to tackle you. Do you want to make a dodge or riposte check?
Well, last time I made a dodge check because I trusted my friends. However, the last of my trust has been ebbed away throughout this experience.
Well, maybe there's a good reason for it. Who knows? But
not that I'm aware of.
Of
I
course.
don't know what you're talking about. I think someone's getting riposted with the axe.
Okay, make a riposte
And I
check.
can only apologize, Jackson.
Oh shit.
All right, a hard success on a riposte is a fail.
Well,
Correct?
No, because
difficulty
I
was increased
explicitly
for-
said that the difficulty was increased. I made that as clear. So with a hard success, you slam out, you ram the butt of the axe into Mac's cheek just as he's trying to dive towards you, and he rolls sideways. You can roll your damage first of all.
Uh-oh. Sorry, I just have to check.
Be funny if that completes the ritual. Just smacking an old man with an axe. Is that enough hate for you, Elijah?
May I just say, oops.
Whoops.
Did that one work? No, it didn't. All right.
You'll need to roll the damage.
All right. There we go.
Well, as
Holy shit!
Oh, what?
you rolled
Excuse me?
2d8 for an axe attack.
To my knowledge, yes. I think it's just generic axe, and I believe it is 2d8.
Get the old bookie.
That
Should be
seems
back.
bizarre to me. Let's double check that.
It's
because-
definitely high. Axe is
It's high.
flipping
It's
hurt,
high.
if I remember correctly.
All right.
This is as we all urgently look this up to see if Mac has dead.
1d8 plus 2 plus damage bonus. So unless your
Okay.
damage bonus is 8,
I think my damage bonus is a D4. So
Okay,
I'm
so
gonna say-
it's 10 plus a D4.
Okay, so I'm just rolling a D4.
oh well, 13 is far more reasonable.
Okay, I don't know
yeah,
where.
Mac, he didn't
I don't know where I
hit
got
you with
this
the butt
damage
of the
from.
axe. He swings back, and you were like reaching out with your hands, and suddenly, how much health do you have? Oh,
Muted.
Muted, I'm afraid.
No, I didn't. Oh wow!
Oh,
this.
dude, I hope this
Well,
hasn't
we
happened.
can't hear him.
Now it's the reverse. Okay, well I'll tell you what. We're just gonna.
For what it's worth, I can. It's over half. He needs to make a con check.
Okay. Oh, Pulp. So he no major wounds.
Nope.
He doesn't have.
You still need to make a con check. I was just checking the rules when Griff got hit.
Okay. Fantastic.
It's still a con check to
All
see
right.
if you go unconscious. It's just not ticking the major wound box. So if you hit
Okay.
0, you're still just like not great
So is that if you take half your hit
in one hit.
One
In one
In one
hit.
hit? I
Okay,
didn't
so
when you
you
dealt.
No,
when
you
you
didn't.
dealt 8 to
Can you
me.
hear us? If you can
1, 2.
hear us, oh dear.
We can
Yeah,
hear
yeah,
you.
I hear you.
It's just poor quality.
Oh,
Excellent.
really?
Yeah.
Okay. How's that? Is that better?
That's better, just very quiet. It's workable. I think that's...
All right, as we were.
All right. So yeah, he
am I
didn't hit
dead?
you with the butt of this thing. You are diving forward, and suddenly he wheels around, and you see this axe blade slam down, and you catch Mac across the side of the face, the jaw, the chest, the something. Roll your Constitution.
Who, me?
Yes.
Mm.
Is this because it's more than half my health? Am I?
Yes.
That's why I'm concerned. All right.
Oh, you.
I
All
Okay,
right.
that's good. That's good.
And you spin sideways and land on the ground in all fours, the boiling water rushing across your hands, dripping blood. Grease, you see this. You see Mac, the man who just handed you this, get hit by an axe. He spins around, he falls to the ground. What are you going to do?
God damn it.
All falls to you.
I see Matt go down, and my intent was already to unclog my ears. So I think I've already got a finger digging around in there to get some of the wax out as he falls.
And the world goes from just silent to suddenly anguished screams, fizzing, hissing noise, chanting, "Ya ya Cthulhu Fatug," just this chaos all around you. It's like being born again. You're here, you're a deputy, you got a gun in your hand, there's blood everywhere. What are you doing?
What's happened with all the people that were following us, that
They
giant
dropped
horde?
back before you came around the
So it's just us.
You can't see the other people.
And I still don't, I don't understand. All right, I'm gonna shoot Griff. It's what Mac was doing, and that seems like the best of the bad.
The best of the bad options? Yes, it does. It absolutely.
That is not a great
I
one.
can't reiterate enough. That is the best decision you can make.
Okay, I'm not
Second best.
I'm not sold.
So
All right.
before you make this roll, I want to tell you a couple of things. You are a crack shot. If you would like, you can try and
best
do
shot.
some kind of non-lethal hit. And if you would like, you can try and, for pure style, kill the Reverend in the same shot.
Twofer.
They're next to each other. They're in front of each
Yeah,
other.
but there was some I don't understand why we weren't shooting him to begin with. So there must be a reason. I'm not going to be
Okay.
the one. We seem to be stopping Griff doing this. I'm not going to be
Alright.
the one that fucks that up.
Sounds good.
And I'm probably not going to go for style points because Griff's the size of an ox.
Yep.
He can take a little bullet.
I was gonna say you could aim for a specific thing.
Yeah, center of mass. That's good. I was really hoping that wasn't going to be an extreme. That would have been bad.
And I was like, I wouldn't be that worried, man. Oh, actually, extreme.
Yeah, 5 points.
5
5
points
points.
of damage. You're,
Is it half total or half current?
Half total. You have to take in one hit.
Yeah.
You're fine.
has to be a
Doesn't matter
massive
either way.
hit. So you swing around with your axe and you cut across Mac's face, and then you're shot in the back by Grease, and you spin around and you look towards Smythe, who says under his breath now, but Mac, you're close enough to hear as you pull yourself up, and he says, "Look at him, He has no one left. Nothing but hate. Doc, it's technically your turn before it's Griff's.
Oh, yeah.
If you have any last things you'd like to do.
I succeeded on a power check to determine this is a ritual.
Yes.
Am I aware that Griff killing Elijah is a part of that ritual? Can I make an intelligence test?
You could make a Cthulhu Mythos check, but otherwise it is just your intuition.
I'm going to make that check to see if I can confirm what I think may be true before if I can do that at the same time as acting.
You can make the Cthulhu Mythos check. Yeah, sure. You can still do something.
Nope.
You have only your own best guess.
Perfect. How am I within pistol range?
Yeah, yes, you are.
Lovely. I'm going to get as close to Eliza Smythe as I can.
Yep.
I'm going to bullet in his brain.
All right. Shot once, shot twice. Griff, you spin round, you look towards the man, he mouths something at you, something you don't hear. You shove him off you raise this axe above his head, and then the doc comes into sight just next to you with a gun, fires. Make a firearms pistol check with a bonus die for point blank range.
I think I'm gonna need it. But we'll find out. Sorry, Griff.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Success.
You want to
bullet
lock it
goes
down
off.
to an extreme?
You can lock it down to extreme.
You could. It's like 4 points.
Yeah, I will guarantee this kill. Absolutely.
All
I
right.
couldn't guarantee stopping Griff, but I can guarantee
This dude
kill
dies.
stealing.
As you raise the axe, the doc walks in, holds out the gun and fires, and the back of Smythe's head explodes, and he just collapses back and lands, blood spreading out like angel wings behind him in the water. And everything is still silent for you, and just for you, Griff, as you watch his blood fade away.
Is it horribly noisy for the rest of us? Have I done it terrible? I would really like to know.
I want to hear what Griff does first for a second. What goes through your head? What are you thinking? What do you do in the immediate moments following? You stare at the body.
I would like to drop my axe into the ground, and it like embeds into the ground, and I stare down at the blood draining from the body, and then I turn to face the doc, and I have sheer anger upon my face as I reach out with my hands towards the doctor, like with what is almost definitely malice in my eyes, and that anger and hatred has not
Faded.
dissipated.
It's still
Or
there.
it's been stolen.
As you gaze around, the rest of you hear the noise building to a cacophony. Then with a sudden gunshot, everything begins to grow calm. The chanting stops, and the hissing from the pool of water begins to subside, dying down just slightly. From behind you, a second after it grows silent, you hear wailing start from back where you know that there are people who were possessed or something. And you also hear this unholy animalistic sound. This is unconscious vocalization coming from Griff's mouth as he turns around and rises onto a shot leg, blood dripping from him. He's got more lead in him than a pencil, and he's heading forward, arms outstretched towards the doctor. What are you all doing? Are you
I think
tackling
it's
him
Griff's
down?
turn.
Yeah, it is Griff's turn. Yeah, good point. Griff, what
It's
are you
like a
doing?
full go of accent.
You took him from me. He was mine. He was meant to be mine. You took him from me. It was all I had. That was the deal. That was the deal. And I reach out. I grab the doctor by the shoulders, and I begin to shake the doctor violently, back and forth, and
All right.
quite intensely.
Doc, someone is on you, someone is shaking you, you've still got this gun in your hand. Mac, Grease, it's the two of your turns before anything happens. Are either of you doing anything? Are you yelling? Are you...
If I can move, I would like to sit on Griff.
Okay. All right. I assume you're joining in, Grease, the two of you together?
I yelled at Mac. I go, Mac, Doc shot him. What are we doing?
Gotta calm him down, make sure he doesn't hurt anyone else, and then we'll patch him up.
What the hell was he chanting to? And I'm gonna spend my turn watching where those fucking bubblies were. Make sure no bullshit happens.
You're staring towards...
And I'm also watching his corpse in case it gets up, because that has a habit of happening.
Always a risk. The lights are kind of bubbling away, continuing to shimmer and distort the surface of the water. Behind you, there is this wailing from these people. Mac, you tear towards Griff and you grab him and you start trying to pull him back. Doc, do you do anything like shoot Griff as he comes close, or do you like sort of let him shake you?
I let him. I mean, I have no malice. I have nothing in my face except like concern and care, and I just let him do what he has to.
All right. He shakes and he yells and he howls and Griff, what do you do?
That reaction from the doctor, when anger is met with not anger, and in fact the opposite, I would say, it does not ignite the flame. It's the only way to quell anger, I think, is by showing compassion and sympathy. And I think that ultimately, like, the Griff can't hurt the doctor. He can't not with the doc looking at him like that. So Griff will let go of Doc and look down at his own hands in a sense of like breathing deeply and stepping back from everyone.
They're stained with blood, yours, everyone else's. And I want to ask you one last question. Who does Griff hate?
Himself.
All right. And let's call the session there. I think that's the best place to leave it. Thank you all so much. What a wonderful session. What a wonderful bit of everyone shooting everybody else and axing each other and all that fun stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Great to have you all. Great to have all of you watching. Thank you for joining us. Once again, remember, subscribe on Twitch, subscribe on YouTube. It helps us a lot. And check out all of the other amazing shows that are happening at the on the Chaosium Stream of Chaos. If you check out our YouTube channel, we have a PAX online playlist series.
Extravaganza.
Exactly, with RuneQuest 7th Sea, Call of Cthulhu, and all kinds of panels. We have the White Bull RuneQuest game happening this Saturday at 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. And we'll love to see you next week as well, back here. Thank you to the amazing cast. Thank you, Jackson. Thank you, Art. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Dave. You're all great.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Midge.
All right, and we'll see you all next time.